Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Midnight's Edge After Dark. Happy Friday! Yeah, we made and there was much rejoicing. Yay! We made it through another week, and then next week, if for those of us in America, the real pain starts. Black Friday, the Christmas season.
Yeah, it seems like Thanksgiving came early this year, even though it really hasn't. It
Actually,
doesn't.
yeah,
It does
it is.
little, but
It
not
is a little early, yeah. But anyway, I'm your host. I'm not your host, but I'm your
co-host.
narrator supreme, Mr. Rob Robot Shlomo, coming to you from Shabby Road Studios. With me, as always, Mr. Tom Connors.
Yes, I am here with bells and whistles and everything else on.
He's here. He's queer. Get used to it. Woohoo!
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, there's anything wrong with that. Tom, you've been watching She-Ra, haven't you?
She-Ra. I haven't seen the new one yet, but we've had plenty of comments about our little She-Ra thing. And all these people are like, "Oh, I think you guys are looking too much," and we're not the ones writing all these articles that are out there.
No,
we're not.
We
haven't seen the show yet. We said that.
Well, anyways, yeah. Speaking of which, okay, we've got a smorgasbord. There's been a lot of small. There's not been that one earth-shaking story over the last couple days. There's been a lot of smaller stories. So that's why I give you the sobriety checkpoint.
Yeah, this is going to be another one of those like roundup only episodes almost for the most part. We got a couple of things that are kind of bigger news, but nothing earth shattering, like you said.
So yeah. So anyway, actually I just found out you're a Clerks fan, right?
Oh yeah, huge Kevin Smith fan actually.
Yeah, and we found this out just a little while ago.
Something about JJ. Yeah, go ahead and share that. I seen that.
JJ Abrams. Yeah, I'm while I look for the story, I'm trying to stretch.
And I showed your little your sobriety checkpoint there. Yeah, we're getting a little out of line, so we had to slow it down. So it's guys' night tonight. Isn't that weird? Mecca's off moving.
Oh yeah.
So she's in the chats though, so she's still with us.
It's a veritable sausage party. So, but there is a reboot of a certain Kevin Smith movie that
is it going to be a reboot or is it just something Clerks like? Anyway, I'll go ahead and read the article. Go ahead if you got it there.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm digging it up as we speak. But there's actually a rapper named Logic involved. Now,
that's illogical.
I thought Logic. I thought it was a made up guy. I honestly, I'm not with it, and I thought Logic was. I thought it was made up for Rick and Morty. I honestly did. But it turns out it's a real guy. So J.J. Abrams and Logic are teaming up for a Clerks reboot.
No.
No, it's not it.
Better not be.
Well,
I will literally throw monkey shit at JJ if he does this.
Yeah, well, you better get the monkey poo ready.
I'll go to the fucking zoo. I'll be like, hey, I'll clean out your monkey cage for free. No.
But it's oh boy, why are you rebooting everything? Why I don't understand. You're rebooting everything.
I mean, I get it. We're not getting part 3, but I think they're better off doing a play. Maybe it was Kevin himself. It said something about doing a Broadway play of Clerks. That's a better idea than remaking it.
Yeah. So anyway, unbelievable.
You can't do that huge of Clerks. Don't work. I'm kidding. Some millennials actually do work.
Actually, did you read about the millennial version of Monopoly? And you don't buy property, you acquire experiences. Not property, acquire. Okay, I got.
Is each property your parents' basement, your parents' bedroom in your parents' house?
Oh Lord! But this just keeps getting better and better. Okay, I finally pulled this up. I want to screen share the article for everybody. Okay, in case
phrasing, Rob, phrasing.
Phrasing. So, right there.
I know it's Friday, but
okay.
jeez.
There's this douchebag Logic. Okay. Okay. Well,
It's not coming up.
Didn't bring up the picture.
There we go.
You try scared.
That's Logic.
Okay. All right. That's him. That dude there.
Bobby Hill.
Logic. It's a lot. Yeah.
Well, Bobby Hall.
Oh God.
That boy, right?
that boy, right? Okay. Let me go through this. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody.
You're making me go through this.
Long known by his rap moniker Logic, Bobby Hall is officially. Oh, am I going through puberty again? Is officially on his way to becoming famous for his silver screen presence as well. The 1-800-273-825. What kind of? Okay, somebody has anybody called that number? And if they did, what's on the other line? Rapper signed on to star in his first feature film. J.J. Abrams produced. Everything Must Go. Okay. As Variety reports, the project has been described as Clerks for a New Generation. Okay, Clerks for a New Generation. He's not rebooting Clerks.
That's what I thought. That's
Clerks
what I was asking. Yeah.
So
who cares?
Yeah, he's not rebooting Clerks. Well, and again, and nobody. Yeah. Okay. Re-interview. As soon as you get to the part where interview with Ryan Seacrest, nobody cares. But
yeah, especially Ryan Seacrest.
Okay. So this is pretty much a fault. So everyone. If you're out there, if you're listening to this, oh my God, they're rebooting Clerks. No, it's a false alarm. Just don't bring Clerks into this, okay? But anyway, I've expended enough energy on
Jesus, you probably gave him another heart attack.
But I wouldn't doubt at some point we hear all-female Clerks reboot at some point. I don't doubt that we're going to hear that at some point. So anyway, so let's
you really couldn't do Clerks as an all-female reboot unless you make it about a bunch of lesbians, and they already did. It was called Chasing Amy.
Oh Lordy, but
no, that's a bad joke. But I'm sure Kevin would laugh.
I like Chasing Amy. I did. I really liked Chasing Amy. That was actually a good movie. You know, all the comic book guys.
This is $10. We're going to go buy ourselves a buttload of Archie books, and I'm going to teach you that Archie's all about the pussy. Or Jughead, anyway. Yeah, Jughead it was.
I still use the line from Clerks.
That's why he wears that crown, because he's the king of Queen Archie's world.
Remember when they were in the comic book store? If you had picked up the new issue of Wizard, whatever it was, and then he says, "See this? This is the pulse of pop culture, and this is your finger way off the pulse and up your ass, or whatever."
Far away from the pulse and up your ass. Yeah, that's from Jay and Silent Strike Back. Yeah, when Brody
okay, wrong movie, but still
same character. Funny. Yeah.
But I use that on all four of my brothers whenever they say they haven't heard something. Yeah, I still use that line of my brothers. See this? This is the pulse of pop culture. This is your finger way off the pulse. Because they haven't seen a movie in years, they don't know where it's from, so they think I came up with it.
There you go.
So that's okay. So what's this about DC fans boycotting Aquaman?
Oh, for fuck's sake, DC fanatics! I love them to death. They think that if they boycott Aquaman, they're going to get the Snyder cut somehow.
Oh.
How does
one action equal that outcome?
You're acting like these people are logical.
They are not.
See, you got to remember these, and I don't mean to use the term "these people" because I hate to, but DC fanatics. Anyway,
what you mean, these people?
Yeah. They labor under the impression that everybody liked the direction that the DC universe was going in.
Have you seen the box office?
And yes, we all understand that Justice League was a big pile of shit, but that doesn't mean Snyder's version isn't going to be an equally bigger pile of shit.
Check this out. Check this out. If you Google search DC fans to boycott Aquaman, the result, at the top of the page for videos is us. Check it out. Do it.
Nice.
Do it.
I'm gonna do it. Okay.
Do it. Yeah, we're moving up in the world. Moving on up to the east side. That is fucking awesome. Check it out and screen share that to no end.
If I can hear, let's see.
What
was it typed in? DC.
Fans to boycott Aquaman. There's 3 videos. Us. There's another one from the Film Junkie and Chris Wong's Swenson.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, mine too. It's us live right now, which is funny, but yeah.
Yeah. Stuck on that, new rock stars. Yeah. Check it out. There we are, baby. Yeah.
Which is funny because everything else we get knocked down on, but that's kind of funny. That's pretty good. No, it's just the stupidity of it. Where do you think that all that's going to do is ensure you're not going to get another Aquaman movie, let alone hardly any more DC films like this? Because right now it's tracking at 55 million opening, which is jack shit for a superhero movie.
Like you're gonna boycott it, and it's gonna go down to 28 million.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing they're gonna say is, oh well, I guess nobody wants another Aquaman movie, like you said. What sense does that make? What sense? That makes no sense. It did not make sense. It did not make sense. If Chewbacca lives on Endor, you must have quit.
I was just gonna say it's just like the Chewbacca defense. It doesn't make sense.
It did not make sense. Did that make sense? Look at the monkey. Look at the silly monkey.
For those of you out there wondering what he's doing, it's Cochran on South Park. Yeah. Oh no, Cochran used the Wookiee defense.
Oh brother, it doesn't make sense. But the movie to boycott would have been Suicide Squad. It really would have.
The sad part is that's the better one of the bunch thus far.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, you're doing this. If you're gonna boycott anything, you're doing this ass backwards.
Pretty much.
I mean, okay, Star Wars fan, we have a reason to boycott anything coming up.
Speaking of, IMDb did their most anticipated films poll of 2019.
Oh yeah, let's do this because we can always get mileage out of Star Wars discussion.
Yeah, because guess where Star Wars wound up? Number 7. Under all kinds of other stuff like, wow, how does this happen in a year? Yeah, of course I could have understood Avengers 4 taking the number 1 spot. Okay. Even duking it out with Star Wars, but Star Wars is clear down at number 7. I'm gonna try and get the list up.
Well, Big Gator 5 asks us, have we ever thought about starting your own media company? No, I don't like being the boss of anything. And I can't deal with that kind of pressure. Okay.
We've talked about that's something that's so far off. Like, yeah, we don't even pay the bills with this right now. So you're talking, we'd have to be very big. We're not as big as a lot of people like to think we are. No,
yeah. I mean, I was just able to eke out enough money to
and actually let me see,
buy a pair of rollerblades because people ask me, I lost about 10 to 15 pounds in the last couple months.
Yeah.
And people ask me, how do I do it? I said the 2 hours. You know what the 2 hours are?
Rest and relaxation.
Nope, rice cakes and rollerblades. That's the rollerblading. That's the 2 hours. And I said, damn it! Like remember Chris Pratt said, chubby Chris Pratt's going away forever. Yeah. I'm like, damn it! I like the new sexy me. I don't want to beat balloon up again like Marlon Brando. Like, all right, boys, we're time to do the podcast now.
That's pretty good.
So anyway,
yeah, as you can see from the poll here.
Yeah,
of course,
we got that up.
There's number 1. Yep. Can you not see it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I can see it now.
Okay.
I have seen the light.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Lion King's Toy Story. Captain Marvel comes in at number 5. Hellboy surprisingly came in at the 6th spot. So here's Star Wars clear down here. Well, look at the number of votes that are actually on this. So of course, this is not.
It's not a scientific sampling.
No, but it's enough to say, look, that in any given year, a Star Wars movie should be way up here. I'm sorry. That's pretty sad.
Yeah.
I am surprised at some of the more original films, I guess, that popped up on the list.
Well, look, How to Train Your Dragon is in there.
Yeah,
that's Addams Family. I really want to see the Addams Family.
I'm surprised how high that is. Yeah. That's even well tied with Wonder Woman and God. Look how far down Wonder Woman is, though.
Oh, gee whiz.
Phoenix.
Oh, wow.
And of course, again, this is not anything real sign because Spider-Man's way down here too. Look, surprisingly.
Spider-Man Far From Home.
New Mutants finally popped on the list. It wasn't earlier when I voted.
Dumbo's it. Shaun the
now
Sheep.
we're getting down to the way bottom, but not a lot of hype for Jumanji either. Surprisingly.
What's this? Ford versus Ferrari? Oh, if that's the story about Le Mans, that looked. Oh, let me take a look at this. Hold on.
Ford versus Ferrari. True story of the battle between Ford and Ferrari to win.
Oh, yeah. Okay, all right.
James Mangold.
Okay, now if you guys don't know anything about this, Enzo Ferrari was going to sell the company to Ford back in the 60s, and they actually had the papers drawn up. Henry Ford II was not Henry Ford Jr., but they called him Henry Ford II. Was in the meeting. Enzo was sitting there. Old man Enzo was sitting there with his lawyer. They look at the papers, and Enzo looks to his lawyer, says, "Want to go get something to eat?" They get up, they leave, and they never come back. and the deal is dead. And then Henry Ford II says, he goes, "You know what? Fuck those guys." He went to his engineers at Lotus, which Ford owned at the time. Ford provided engines to Lotus. He went to the engineers at Lotus. He said, "Build me a car that will smash the Italians at Le Mans."
Yeah.
And they lost like 4 test drivers testing the car. What they came up was the Ford GT40.
Right. And Wonder Woman shouldn't even be on this list, by the way. If you smell in the chat brought up and reminded me, they moved it to summer 2020, remember?
Yeah. I was about to say, though, you know why it's called the GT40?
Why is that?
Because it's 40 inches off the ground. It's 40 inches high. That's why. Yeah. And then Ford went on. They won Le Mans in 66, 67, 68, and 69. They dominated. So they got their revenge. So, yeah. But anyway, sorry to spoil the movie for everybody. But
there you go. You just told us the whole goddamn movie now.
It's a famous story. It's a famous story, though, if anybody follows anything in the automotive industry. So. Enzo was old man Enzo was a stud, except for Ferdinand Lamborghini, he wouldn't sell Lamborghini a car, and he actually dared him to start his own company. And old man Lamborghini started the company out of spite because he used to build tractors. He says, "Oh yeah, oh what are you gonna do? Start your own company? Oh yeah, watch."
And Matt Weiss, our good friend, brought up the Addams Family. He says, "But will the new cast of the Addams Family be able to top the 90s cast?" I think they're doing the smart thing by doing it as the animated version.
Yeah, it looks like the comic strip. It looks like the living comic strip.
Yeah, 3D version of it, but still, at least they're keeping that. You know what they should do is get John Astin to do the voice, but I know they don't have him. I can't remember who they got doing. Wasn't it what's his face from Star Wars is doing Gomez?
Like Cassian Andor, that guy?
No, Poe.
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah. So that'd been cool if they got John Astin back. For those you don't know, he did the voice for years, obviously, on the cartoon and played him in the original TV show. And yeah. But anyway, because he's still with us, isn't he? Or did he pass away recently? I think he's still with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, if you smell, the Addams Family started as a comic strip, and I just brought this up last week that there was other characters that never made it into the television show or movies up until the 90s movie, especially. They brought in the third child, which was Pubert, who was never on the show or the other incarnations prior.
Like you're gonna be able to do that on mid-60s television.
Yeah, it was a very tongue-in-cheek comic strip. I mean, you could tell just from the show and the way, Gomez and Morticia are, it always had a quite a bit of adult humor already.
Yeah.
But, we discussed the Addams Family at great length one night here on the podcast.
I like the episode where Uncle Fester invented the hair, the new hair, and he was able to put it on with a paint roller. That was actually pretty good.
Why don't he just put Cousin It on his head?
Cousin It, it's so good to see you. Now, did cousin he lived in the chimney, or just came down through the chimney? I don't remember.
He never lived there. He didn't live there, but he just come down through. I think it was just that the Addams family home was like the hub.
Yeah,
because they had the cemetery and everybody come visiting. But I think cousin just happened to be one of the more popular family members because I think they had quite a few family members visit because a lot of those characters came straight out of the comic strip too.
Yeah.
Like the Siamese twins, I think did that are in the movie that Gomez and Fester talk about dating, and then some of the other characters like that are in the cemetery, I think, are actually characters from the old cartoon. And in fact, if I remember right, on the one like Aunt Borgia or whatever her name is in the movie, they have like a big statue of her on her gravestone. I think that actually looks just like the comic strip version, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've read any of the comics, but I know a lot of the characters that are in the original comics popped up here and there in various forms.
Yeah. So anyway,
yeah, we had other stuff to talk about. What else did we have on the agenda? Did you want to talk the Eternals news? There was some Eternals. We got an idea of who we're going to see. Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that
because you were a big Eternals fan. I know
I probably know more about the Eternals than most people do here. So that my a friend of mine actually was a bigger fan of the Eternals. He actually collected the series, but I was I was the one who actually said that was my freaking Google's not working.
Okay.
Why is Google's not? Oh, here it goes.
Well, this story came, I think, from the #show.com originally.
Yeah.
While you're getting it up, do you need the link? I got it here.
Yeah, I need the link. Kevin Feige compares Eternals to Guardians of the Galaxy.
All right, I sent you in the chat there.
Okay, but okay. Oh wow. Oh, that's impressive. Redirecting you. Okay, that #show. Are they reputable? That #show, because it seems like Manabyte seems to.
We've used them a few times. I don't know. I think time will tell. Because I don't remember using it very often until recently, so I think they're fairly new.
They're a relatively new site, aren't they? It seems like they're a relatively new site. But okay, well anyway, that the #show.com exclusive Eternals character lineup. Marvel Studios is set to become the pivot point for the past, present, and the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The Eternals. Okay. The characters' ties to the vast number of heroes, both here on Earth and elsewhere in the cosmos, provide a unique opportunity to tell any number of stories. The film, which is set to go into production next fall in London, will introduce audiences to a wide range of characters, most of which general audiences will be entirely unfamiliar with. We've been fortunate enough to find out just which characters those will be and are now happy to share them with you. Below, get your first look at the characters of Marvel Studios' 2020 film, The Eternals. As you read, it'll be obvious. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Karen. Susan cast actress, early 30s to role Karen, opening nationality, ethnicity, Middle Eastern, African American, Native American, powerful, timeless, quality, a leader, a warm, nurturing, intuitive, kick-ass, but had warmth, should have an international, timeless feel. Okay. Who can I picture? I don't know if I can picture that. Male lead, described only as a Greek god. Could we be getting Hercules? Druid. It seems the villain piece will be
great, a Druid princess.
Druish. First appeared to Eternals 11, 1977. Though he was a Kirby creation, he gained notoriety after his appearance in Neil Gaiman's 2000. Is it Gaiman or Gaiman?
I've always heard Gaiman.
Yeah, it's Gaiman. 2000 Eternals. Druid possesses conventional abilities of an Eternal. He can manipulate all forms of matter and energy, including.
We just got to say, Tim Augustine gave us a $2 super chat too. By the way, he wanted a MEAD Addams Family Halloween picture, and I said that would be amazing. So we'll put $2 towards that. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, somebody I know actually. She was Morticia, and her daughter was Wednesday. that was actually pretty cool. I think anyway, he could teleport, manipulate gravitation in order to fly, control minds of others, project energy from his body, usually hands or eyes. Modern times, Druid served as an agent in KGB Russia and found he enjoyed torturing people. When Ziran, the tester, came through Polaria, Druid planned to slay him using the weapon. It's the weapon. That sounds cool. Bring the weapon, which he had learned by torturing his cousin Icarus. Okay, Icarus, cigarette. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Weapon. Okay, blah, blah. Piper. Okay. Okay. Piper, 16, looks like maybe 15, 16-year-old kid, which means they're going to cast Michael B. Jordan. So, studio's looking to cast
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage in blackface. Studio's looking to cast a lead female, 10 to 16 years old, of any nationality or ethnicity, in the role of Piper. Strong, charismatic presence. That looks like a boy. Female? They're going to gender flip it? Strong, charismatic presence with magnetic personality, wise beyond her years, articulate, quick-witted, natural acting ability, and some type of athletic background, a plus. Not clear. It seems that the studio might be taking a new slant on Eternal known as Sprite. Elysius. Okay, 20, 40-year-old actress for Elysius. I can kind of picture... I'm not sure. I can picture
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage in blackface. Anyways, it's going to be Peter Dinklage blackface. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Oh, she later aided Captain Marvel and Drax the Destroyer. Look at that. Against Isaac, Stellarex, Lord Gaia, and Chaos. She began a romance with Marvel. The Forgotten One. Okay. Icarus. Now, Icarus is the guy you see on all the covers, the blonde hair guy. She was looking for a male 20 to 40 to play Icarus, an Eternal born over 20,000 years ago in the Eternal city of Polaria. His life force is augmented with cosmic energy.
It says Gilgamesh there.
No, I went down. I'm not quite there yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see where you're at. Never mind.
Okay. Life force and control physical form. Escape. Has low level psychic abilities, enable him to escape.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Icarus. Makari, Circe. A lot of people looking for Circe. Oh, Star Fox. Beautiful. Star Fox. And you know what this means? Star Fox probably going to be an Avenger at some point. Now we're not talking about the Nintendo character Star Fox. we're talking about yeah, Slippy, get back here. Star Fox was an Avenger in the time when I was reading the Avengers back in the mid 80s. So that makes sense. Athena, Zurus, and that's about it. Okay, so we got a good idea who is going to be. And I got a feeling they might make some changes on the fly depending casting. But we got a good idea though what the Eternals are going to look like. So anyway, so this looks like it's going to be pretally cool. Star Fox, aka Eris. I can make any woman sleep with me. There was actually a Idris Elba in whiteface. Actually, there was a scene. There was a couple pages where Star Fox and Hawkeye were doing some training in the Avengers Mansion, and Star Fox tried to do the whole charm with Captain America to sort of love, like, you guys can't beat. He's like, Cap's like, you guys can't beat me. So he's, oh yeah, watch. He tries to do the charm, and then Cap beats him anyway. He says, how did you resist my power? He goes, I didn't resist my power. Your power only works on people who are angry. I wasn't fighting out of anger. I'm fighting because I'm enjoying it. And he goes, oh, okay. So yeah, just use Idris Elba like Eddie Murphy in the Clumps. Yeah, everybody's gonna be played by Idris Elba.
That and Peter Dinklage, just the two of them. That's all you need.
So anyway, look, and Kevin Feige
brings up that Star Fox is also Thanos' brother. Did you know that?
Yes. Also Thanos' brother. Yeah.
You didn't know that. You liar.
What a family to be in. Jeez, you got Nebula, Gamora, Star Fox. I mean, and Thanos is your dad. Jeez, what's Thanksgiving like in that house?
Probably less chaotic than mine. But
I said I wanted the turkey leg. Dad, you get the turkey leg all the time.
Don't make me snap my fingers.
Exactly. Oh boy. Yeah, so Eternals, like I said, we got another year before it goes God, another 2 years before it's a screen, another year before it goes into production.
But speaking of production, I also seen a rumor today that Black Widow is already set to go into production early next year. February, I think it is.
Yeah, I'm not feeling a Black Widow movie though.
I'm just surprised so soon, but I mean, I'm not, I guess. Because we've been hearing quite a bit about it.
Yeah. We've been hearing for how long Black Widow, Black Widow should get a movie. Well, we've been hearing from a lot of people say Black Widow should totally get a movie.
Well, we've actually been getting specifics over the last year, so.
Yeah.
And it was brought up again about Child's Play open against Toy Story 4. We brought that up earlier in the week, and basically what we said is, yeah, we kind of see their reasoning. They're doing counter programming, but the parents are just going to go see Toy Story 4. But what they were smart about, and this is what we talked about on the horror podcast, The Goddesses of Gore, Joey, one of the, I think he's the assistant editor over at 1428 Elm. I apologize if he has a different title. But he was telling us, his thought on the matter was, it was a genius scheme to get people to talk about it. And there was tons of headlines about it.
Yeah.
And like I said, it writes itself. You got, the toy box office battle, you got the doll brawl, you got all these other,
doll brawl.
all these other kind of ways that kind of, it was a ingenious idea, even though the movie may not do that great. And it might do fine, but if it does, it doesn't. Either way, that doesn't matter. The point is people are talking about it.
Yeah.
So,
but the thing is, though, somebody's brought in the chat, Black Widow, too little, too late. I don't think it's a question of too little, too late. Some characters work better as supporting characters.
Yeah, she's one of those. I don't think we were ever crying out for a Black Widow solo. I mean, some people were. But.
Yeah, some people were, but at the same time, it's like I said, not every character needs its own movie.
Yeah, there was some sad news. I know you were a fan of Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid.
Yes.
William Goldman passed away at the age of 87. Most people know him best for writing The Princess Bride, of course. Did you have anything to say about the man responsible for Princess Bride and a few other things?
Like I said, it's one of those. It's just one of those things. Like I said, you're aware of his work, even though you don't even know it. You might not know his name instantly. I mean,
he's one of those. Actually, I'm very aware of his name, and I know what you're saying. Yeah.
But to a lot of movie aficionados, like, well, they know his name, but you say Butch Cassidy, you say not Toy Story. You say Princess Bride, Marathon Man, bringing up a few other things. Magic, Marathon Man, Misery. Marathon Man, yeah, I'm very familiar with that.
Stepford
Wives, yeah. And
of course, Misery, he would have wrote the screenplay, obviously. But yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. But like I said, it's a guy who left an indelible mark on film history. He really, really has. Like I said, and just the range of projects too, from westerns to dramas to thrillers. I mean, to comedies. I mean, he had great. It's rare to see that guy with that kind of talent.
Yeah. He will be missed. A big week for losses here in the world of nerddom, I guess.
Oh, and we lost country music star Roy Clark too.
Oh. Yeah, see, they always come in threes. Yeah.
Roy Clark was a very fitting, very, very moving tribute. I remember at Mickey Mantle's funeral. He played Yesterday When I Was Young, and I remember Mike Francesa on WFAN saying, I can picture Mickey when he retired in maybe his mid-40s. He's sitting down with a drink in his hand and listening to that song, thinking about the days going by, So, but like I said, they come in threes. I mean, Roy Clark, I never really liked country music, but Roy Clark was one of those guys. He was an excellent guitar player. You remember, do you ever see him on The Odd Couple when he played Oscar's buddy and Felix is trying to get him to be a more serious musician? Did I just lose Tom? Tom.
Sorry, I had myself muted there. I vaguely do. It's been a long time since I've seen a lot of those shows, though. I remember the movie better than I do the shows.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he was back in the day when a series was in trouble, dates were getting canceled. He used to bring in guest stars. So, like that. So they brought in Roy Clark, Bobby Riggs.
I know who Roy Clark is, of course.
Yeah. Howard Cosell. So Roy Clark was one of those guys. He seemed like a really great guy. Him and Buck Owens used to do that thing on Hee Haw. Yeah. So anyway,
there was another story to talk about here. Somebody out there in the chat needs to tell me. I can't remember. Am I imagining this from my childhood? Like the Mandela effect or something like that. Did Boris Karloff ever voice or do the voiceover for the commercials for Frankenberry? Or is this just something I'm imagining? Or did they just get somebody who sounded like him? But anyway, beyond that, General Mills is launching a Serial Monster cinematic universe. What the serious fuck? What the serious fuck here? Like, okay, Rob, I'm going to actually probably don't have this, so I'll send you the story.
I'm just laughing thinking about it.
I know, right? It's pretty ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Balls.
Patrick Ollinger wants my favorite 60s sitcom. That's a good question. Does Batman count as a sitcom?
It's satire.
Satire, yeah. I liked F Troop. I liked F Troop. What's funny was the F Troop. They had the joke, the Fakawi Indians, and they used to say, "Where the Fakawi?"
Oh, jeez.
And nobody got it. Nobody got it. Hey, guard, where are the Fakawi? The Fakawi Indians. Yeah. What you call it? Get Smart. I used to like.
Yeah. But all right. Speaking of getting smart, according to Nerdist, they say we know the idea of yet another cinematic universe sounds stale, especially after Universal's Dark Universe left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. The puns just keep flying. But we are ready to dig in on our latest endeavor because it could be delicious. General Mills wants to launch all new stories with their cereal monster mascots, and it wants you to pitch them your best idea. So get out there, folks. If this is your chance. They say that we want to work with you to bring great stories to life, from mythical fables to magical journeys, fairy tales and folk tales, cliffhangers to nail biters, heroic sagas to cosmic battles, binge-worthy dramas to historical epics, blockbusters to indies, serials to sequels. Oh,
Lord.
And of course it goes on. Yeah.
It had to come to this, though. It had to come to this.
So yeah, it goes on to say you can submit your idea here. Establish a fucking who cares? This is Now, granted, I was one of those who said the Lego movie that will never work.
Mm-hmm.
But you really are stretching now. I get it.
Well, who doesn't love Everything Is Awesome, though? Everything is awesome.
Well, I was proven wrong for various reasons on that. I was too short-sighted.
The Frito-Lay cinematic universe is next.
Yeah, how the hell? Yeah, the Pepsi cinematic universe. What the fuck is that?
The Frito Bandito. I am the Frito Bandito. The Taco Bell cinematic universe. The McDonald's cinematic universe.
Well, there you got potential, because then you could have everybody fight the Grimace or something.
Funnies. I keep every time I see Family Guy. Hold on, with Lois as the Grimace. Lois, Peter, it's role playing night. It's the Grimace. Oh my God. Oh Lord. But I'm trying to. I don't know. I can't screen share that fast enough. But just go watch the episode. It's hysterical. When everybody's supposed to take a vow of chastity, and Lois comes out the Grimace costume. I know you're not a big Family Guy, are you?
Not really, but compared to some of the shit we've been talking about, I might have to take it up. Like alcohol.
Peter, it's role play night. It's the Grimace. Lois, I'm abstinent. Oh boy, but that's really funny. So, but like I said, it's gonna be the X-Men versus the Frito-Lay universe, and oh man, like I said, Tricks versus Lucky Charms versus Tony the Tiger. Thank you, Kush.
They're great.
They're food.
Yeah.
The Malto Meal universe. Like, you know what the Malto Meals are?
Yeah.
The Malto Meal cereal. If anyone doesn't know, the Malto Meals are those cheap bag cereals at the bottom shelf.
Yeah.
But those are actually pretty good. But if you're looking to save money, I actually had a really good idea.
Malto Meal used to be real huge back in like the 50s.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of like a I don't know if you call it a porridge, but it was like a grainy, gritty fucking oatmeal style kind of. I don't know what the hell it is.
But yeah, if you want to save some money though, just buy one
meal, isn't it?
I don't know. It's like off-brand cereal. And now it's off-brand cereal.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Back in the day, they were pretty big.
Oh, yeah?
The whole thing with Malto Meal was like the actual dinner itself, what got them going. Their wet cereal or whatever fuck it is.
Yes, thank you, Blue Cat. The Quaker Oats cinematic universe. The Quaker Oats versus Malto Meal versus
Quake.
The Gillette versus Schick universe.
Follow my nose. It has powers.
I mean,
we're Fruit Loops and shoot lasers.
We're really stretching it. We're really stretching the cinematic universes. We really are. I mean, geez, then
Mr. Peanut jumps on. Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts.
Well, this is almost like that food fight movie all over again.
Yeah, the Budweiser cinematic universe. Yeah,
Budweiser.
Spuds McKenzie versus the Frogs versus Budman. Quaker Oats versus diabetes. Yeah, I'm Wilford Brimley and I have diabetes.
I have diabetes.
Carl Malone on the Man Show, you say they need to change the name of diabetes to libetes because diabetes gets people all riled up. Say people walk around and they say, "Oh no, I'm going to diabetes." Instead, they say, "Look out, world, libetes is coming through." That's positivity thinking. That's what keeps Carl Malone on top.
Oh, jeez.
But okay, but
Travis Knight. What? Go ahead.
Yeah. Speaking of basketball players, Travis Knight, guys got the same name, but there used to be guys with basketball named Travis Knight. Yeah.
Thank you. And I have it ready for you. There you go. Travis Knight actually directed Bumblebee.
My condolences.
Yeah. I guess this is the guy they're looking at, according to rumors, to direct Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Meh.
Yeah, Marvel. I'm taking this from Screen Rant. Marvel's reportedly looking at Bumblebee's Travis Knight to direct Guardians of the Galaxy 3. What else has he directed? The MCU Cosmic sub-franchise has been.
He also seen as a possibility for Eternals. It says here, but let me look in. Well, I can't because I'm on screen, so I don't know.
Well, anyway,
that's Bumblebee.
For material field obscure. Okay.
That would be called research.
Yeah.
And we didn't do any of that before this show because it's Friday.
Yeah. It's Friday, yes.
Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta get down on Friday.
Of all Friday night songs, I mean, Friday Night is killing me. I got Friday on my mind by the Easy Beats. I mean, that's going way back.
Because I can sing that one.
Gonna have fun in the city. Be with my girl, she's so pretty. Okay, we're gonna pay a royalty. For a while, Gunn was in place to helm the upcoming third installment, but Disney fired him from the project over the summer after offensive tweets from Gunn's past resurface. Thank you, Mike Cernovich, for that. While the studio still plans to use Gunn's script, it's been confirmed.
Son of a bitch.
It's been confirmed he won't return to direct. Originally set to begin production in early 2019 to meet a hypothetical 2020 release date. The next Guardians of the Galaxy is currently on hold as Marvel figures out their strategy. Of course, finding a replacement director is of paramount importance. Ooh, look at that. The word of the day toilet paper is paying off a Screen Rant. And now the studio may have an idea as to who they want to call the shots.
People that got confused because there's Paramount Studios.
Yes. Well, at least it's better than trying to invent the word like differented. Remember that? The whole differented fiasco?
That was your fault. There's no differenting.
Yeah. Well, anyway, according to the Disinsider, Knight is in the running for the job. In addition to Bumblebee, Knight also helmed 2016's Kubo and the Two Strings. Actually, that's supposed to be very, very
There's
good.
your answer.
He was seen as a possibility for the Eternals gig before Marvel hired Chloe Zhao. Should this pan out, Knight would prove to be an inspired choice to step in for Gunn. Kubo was widely praised for its breathtaking visuals and emotionally engaging story, which managed to connect with viewers of all ages. And while Bumblebee is still about a month away from premiering in theaters, the marketing materials have teased a Transformers story that's full of heart. Many fans are optimistic the spinoff will be a substantial step up from Michael Bay's installments. Okay, that's a low bar to begin with.
You know what? If I was directing Bumblebee,
Yes.
every day I'd go to the set singing, "I'm directing the movie Bumblebee. Won't my mama be so proud of me?" Okay, that was dumb, but still, I would.
Anyway, okay, yada yada. It's still early in Knight's directorial career, but on paper, it looks like his sensibilities would translate very well to Guardians. Gunn's movies were known for their humor, but they also were genuinely moving and knew how to pull on the heartstrings. Okay, yada yada yada. And development does contradict early rumors suggest that Marvel was targeting a female director for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Previous names include
Is that a regional thing? Yada yada yada.
Must be.
Because here we do like blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's a Seinfeldism.
Well, I know that, but that's what I kind of made me think of that since you're from that area too. Yeah. So. Anyway, that's how important. That's how like invested I am in this fucking story.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they were looking at D. Reese, S.J. Clarkson, Michelle McLaren.
Bumblebee too, as K-Mation says.
And okay, the rest of the news is nobody cares. Okay. Travis Knight wasn't a very good basketball player. Hopefully, he's a better director.
Yeah.
So I didn't see Kubo in the Two Strings. Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen the One String either.
The guy from Presidency of the United States of America who used to play bass, he used to play bass on Two Strings.
Yeah, he did.
So no relation. We really don't have much to say about this story. Actually.
I don't know much about him, and it's a safe choice. It's probably a yes man. I mean, I have not heard enough about Travis Knight to know anything about him. I haven't seen Bumblebee yet. That's all I can say.
Yeah. All I got to say is about the President of the United States of America. I was singing Peaches, and my nephew thought I made it up.
The country, gonna eat a lot of peaches.
My nephew, who was 11 years old at the time, thought I made it up. He really did. He goes, "That's not a real song." Yes, it is. It's a real song. And I showed him
from a can.
They were put there by a man in a factory downtown.
I think I used to be able to play that on guitar. But anyway, yeah, they were a real band. That was so sad when they broke up. Because it took them like forever to get famous, and then when they get famous, they break up. It's like, what's about?
And then I show them the end fight where they're fighting the ninjas. Millions of peaches for me. Millions of. He said that's just pretty.
What's
cool.
funny is Weird Al did a parody of them, and it was almost caused a paradox.
Can't be in the two places at the same time. Yeah.
Well, it's like just like they did Gump out of Lump, and it was almost like ingenious because it was like if he did something wrong, that the entire universe could have folded in on itself. Because he's doing a parody of a band that was already like a parody of a real band. It just was too weird. Too weird. Even for Weird Al.
Weird, man. It's weird. It's weird, man.
Wow.
But
that was about it, I think. Was there anything else to talk about?
Well, there's always the same things. I mean, let's
Princess Leia with a lightsaber. We never talked about that.
Yeah. Actually, a couple days ago, Cinema Bland. They as I call them, Cinema Bland. They're trying to say how can J.J. Abrams get Star Wars back on track? And Princess Leia with a lightsaber, not gonna do it. not gonna do it.
It's not a bad idea, but that's 3-4 movies too late. Darius Newby, did we see the Pikachu trailer? No, I can say I haven't because I've actively avoided anything that has anything to do with
Pokemon.
I'm not a Pokemon fan. I was too old for it, and I just don't get it. I have better things to get addicted to, like sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So,
damn it, I am not Garrison-san. This is not Mr. Hat-san, and you will speak to me in a language that I can understand. Yeah, I don't know the first thing about Pokemon. Pikachu looks cute. I mean, yeah, I like the little stuff Pikachu plushies, but but so does Harvey Cthulhu. When
I mean, I guess if there's anything that's going to bring any interest to the table for me, it's that Ryan Reynolds is involved, and that's very little. I'm sure there's movies of his I haven't even watched yet. So,
Perpetual Punster. I wanted Leia with a lightsaber in episode 7, but that's the thing. Everything you're gonna do in episode 9, it's gonna be too late. It really is. It's gonna be too late. It's too little, too late.
It's like going to a restaurant and they make you sick with the entree, and then they try and make it better by giving you a dessert or something. It's like, motherfucker, I am sick. I don't want to eat anything else. Quit trying to shove food in my face. It's like, that's kind of where I've gotten with Star Wars. It's like, you done fucked it all up. I'm done sick of it. It doesn't matter what you do to it now, how you try to spruce it up. It's not going to make a difference. And I think that poll, regardless of how many people actually voted, is very telling, because you got to imagine, just out of pure, I'm sure a few fanboys went on there with a few different accounts and voted a few times.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that's even sadder is what I'm trying to get to. I have a feeling that episode 9 is probably going to do like very bad below Rogue One numbers, which I mean, I don't want to oversell it, but the more and more,
it's not going to break $1 billion. I don't think it's going to break $1 billion.
Hell no. If it makes 700 million, I'll be surprised. If it does 800 million, I'll be surprised.
I think 700 to 800 million.
And unless it's good, unless it actually is good and it blows the fucking fanboys' minds, that's the only way I can see it doing anything. And that's going to be a slow burn, because it's going to take a lot of people to believe you. You know what I mean? It's going to take a lot of people who are like, no, like us, who actively,
Let me tell you how much Lucasfilm has poisoned. Lucasfilm and everybody associated with it has poisoned the well for me. I was, before we went on tonight, and I was watching Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which I really do need to get them on Blu-ray. Yeah, I do need to get them on Blu-ray. Actually, why I don't have them now? I have them on regular DVD. That's why I put it off getting. But anyway, that's beside the point. So I'm watching Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and the opening musical number, "Anything Goes" with Kate Capshaw.
Yeah.
Now, before I go on, but is it just me, or did it seem like after Kate Capshaw, Steven Spielberg kind of went downhill? That seems to be consensus.
Yes, like no.
Like she sucked the talent right out of his penis, So,
I mean, I think she was a big distraction for him. I know some people blame her for a lot of the shortcomings of Temple of Doom. But look at it this way. I don't think she acted a whole hell of a lot after that, did she?
I don't think so, no.
I think she kind of became his full-time wife. Yeah, so I guess if anything, you can thank him for taking her out of the running of other variable popular roles she could have taken on. Because I know she's not a very popular actress with people. No. I don't mind her that much, but I know some people find her annoying, and I can see why. I'm going to her IMDb page. Keep going. Yeah, I mean, she's probably done a few things. Don't get me wrong, but I just, for some reason, remember her being more in the background raising their kids for some reason.
Yeah.
I like Temple of Doom, actually. As a kid, it was always my favorite. Well, that's because I, gravitated toward it because of Short Round. But older now. You call him Dr. Jones. You call him Dr. Jones. Older now, I mean, I probably like them in just about the same order. Just as good. I know some people actually, I finally have ran into people who aren't that big of fans of Last Crusade, surprisingly.
Really?
Not as much as you would think. And I'm just like, oh, that's odd, because the actual Indy trilogy is one of those where I could actually say all films are very strong. Yeah. And you could make an argument as to why they're all 10 out of 10s or at least 9 out of 10s.
Well, Temple of Doom is the weakest film for me. To me, that's the weakest film.
Not see, to me, I think it gets a bad
but,
rap. I do.
But,
I mean, yeah, it's the most 80s of all the films.
But at the same time, it's still, I mean, even a bad Indiana Jones, by that standard, even a weaker Indiana Jones film is still better than everything else.
See, and I've noticed the people who don't like Temple of Doom, or at least they lay that one the least, come from your age group, Rob. And really? I think that is because you guys were the first ones to actually go and see Raiders of the Lost Ark in the theater. That's why. Because, see, by the time I got on board with Indiana Jones, there already was 2 Indiana Jones movies. In fact, I could have very well seen Temple of Doom first for all I fucking know. It's been so long. That came out in 84 and the other one came out in 81, and I don't even remember when they both came out on video. But I think I might have even seen Temple of Doom in theater.
Yeah. I saw Temple of Doom and Gremlins in the same night. We did the theater hopping.
Right. Which is funny because Ghostbusters actually came out that night too, but yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of was it? No, I'm sorry. Oh, geez, no, I'm sorry. It's Ghostbusters. We saw Ghostbusters and Gremlins in the same night. I'm sorry. Wrong thing. Wrong movie.
Well, anyway, yeah, that's all right.
But anyway, But anyway, go back. I did see Raiders of the Lost Ark in the theater. But I was about to say, this is how badly it's this whole thing with Star Wars has poisoned the well for me. The opening number with Kate Capshaw, and she's singing half in Chinese or Mandarin or whatever it is, and she's singing like lines in English, and they're showing the credits, and I see the credits, starring Harrison Ford, Kate Capshaw, so and so, story by George Lucas, associate producer Kathleen Kennedy. I just went, oh God.
Gary Marshall was one of the producers too.
Frank Marshall is actually.
Frank I said. Did I say Gary? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Gary Marshall would be Penny Marshall's brother, ain't it?
Mm-hmm. But it was just like, but it's like whenever I see her name associated with anything now, it's like, oh dear God.
Well, no, she's been associated with some of the biggest hits in history, but that's also saying, like, look at, you could not to be a jerk about it, but to be like, oh yeah, well, Ringo was also in the right place at the right time too.
Yeah,
it could have been just about anybody. Ringo has, in retrospect, no, but then at that point,
look at Ringo's solo career though.
Well, if it wasn't for him having some of the more memorable hits later down the road, with like Yellow Submarine and Octopus's Garden and stuff like that, I would be like, okay, you couldn't do it without Ringo. But if you go to those first 4 or 5 years of the Beatles, it could have been any fucking drummer. It wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah. Well, but like I said, Ringo knew enough to keep his head down and stay out of the way. Really.
Oh yeah, well, which is funny is because he was also the oldest and the most established.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ringo was in bands in all over Liverpool. It's so funny. Ringo tells a story about how he played with every Liverpool band one night. He just came out and just changed jackets.
So, pretty much. He was like the resident drummer. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they all played the same songs. He just different jacket. But anyway, we're saying about, Maddox said, who said it? And somebody just said Kathleen Kennedy was a good producer. At the time, but a bad studio president.
Well, and what did she really do to produce those films? That's the big question we keep coming to. Outside of 1941, we have a hard time finding any point where she had a big influence on any of the movies. There's one famous story about her on E.T. Maybe she had a lot of influence on The Color Purple. Where else would she come in on board? Where is she ever going to really interject her fucking 2 cents to Steven Spielberg or Robert Zemeckis, or, you know what I mean? I mean, really, at what point is she going to say, I think it'd be better if Doc said this, or
okay,
I think Oscar Schindler would do this, not this.
Okay, I'm not really feeling the DeLorean for the time machine, Robert. Why don't we substitute? Why don't we substitute for a VW microbus? Yeah, how about that?
Pink pony.
Pink. I'm thinking pink. Michael J. Fox.
Any way we can work a pony in here?
Yeah. Matt. I still I will have Kathleen Kennedy in my corner over Amy Pascal. That's not
saying a hell of a lot.
Matt, that's called picking your poison.
That's like saying I'd rather have the clap than syphilis or whatever. It's like,
Yeah, both can be cured by a shot of penicillin, but you don't want either one. Yeah, would you rather would you rather yeah.
Chlamydia, syphilis. Chlamydia,
Yeah.
syphilis. Ah, shit.
It's like I said, Bill Walton was
He says this is true.
yeah. Bill Walton was voted sixth man on the Boston Celtics when they won a championship in like 85 or 86 or whatever. Like, yeah, he was sixth man off the bench to congratulate Larry Bird on having a great game. I mean, that's what she's okay.
It'd be different if she spawned out and had a totally different career beyond Spielberg, but she didn't. Not really. A few things, but nothing of great note or anything you could say, well, would she have done that if it wasn't for her legacy that she already had under her belt? And she played it safe all these years. Right person, right place, right time kind of thing. Okay. Now you'd think she would have picked a lot of shit up over those years, but evidently she didn't. Unless she's fighting different things at different turns, like I used to try and say, maybe there's more to this than what we're seeing. Unfortunately, the evidence keeps stacking up and stacking up and stacking up that it's on her shoulders. Ever since The Force Awakens, every single film has had some kind of controversy surrounding it in some way.
Okay, I read actually, like, so I'm a big basketball fan. I was a big New York Knicks fan. Pat Riley, coach of the Lakers and the Knicks and Miami Heat, he wrote a book actually called The Winner Within. And there's a chapter about how there are certain people who will ride the coattails of greatness, but they think they deserve as much of the credit as the superstar. And I think that's a case of what we're seeing with Kathleen Kennedy. She rode the coattails of so many great people. I'm not saying that she couldn't be good, that she wasn't a good producer, that she didn't do her job. But let's face it, without Steven Spielberg, without George Lucas, without Robert Zemeckis, without any of those guys, like I said, she would have Hollywood would have a very different opinion of her. Really, seriously, and I don't want to say it's the right place.
Frank Marshall's husband or wife,
yes,
or whatever.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
She'd be Mrs. Frank Marshall,
basically. And I'm not trying to demean her in any way, but you really got to look at it. Look at her credits. 1941 is the only thing she really had a lot to do with, and that's not one of the crown jewels in Spielberg's fucking crown.
Can we add Matt to this chat, because he's saying some good stuff.
If he's able
Matt,
to,
can you join us for a few minutes? If
he's hooked up, because I know he's at school, so he might have a roommate to deal with in a dorm room. I have no idea. So I'll bring up my Facebook, Matt. You can go ahead and.
I would have given my left nut to have her just to be in a dorm and at school. I'm like, Jesus. I tell Pete, he said he's on his way. Yeah, I went to the series I wrote, FU, is about all my time at university. It was a shit stain of a public university. It really was. and the car I was driving was a little crappy little Ford, and I was banging away on the steering wheel, and I put like a 5-degree bend in the steering wheel from hitting it so hard one day. So I was that pissed off about going there, and the people, and my sister-in-law, which was convincing me not to transfer. This is I'm going on. I'm stretching, but this is actually a good story. And actually, she said to me years later about, there's no difference between an Ivy League school and the one you went to. When I hire at my company, if someone has a resume from Yale and this says Yale and one that says from the place you went, I give them equal consideration. I don't favor one over the other. And I said to her, "That's very noble of you, Rhonda." I shouldn't say her name. I said, "That's very noble of you." Too late. It's out of the bag. Anyway, I said, "That's very noble of you." Now let me tell you how it works in the real world.
Probably runs in different circles.
Yeah, I said, in the real world, when you say you went to the place I went to, people laugh at you and call you a retard. So, Greedale from Community was more legit than FU. Yes, it was. Yes, at least. Oh my God, FU was. I actually had people say to me, ask me, where do you go? And when I told them where, they would say two things. You couldn't get into a real college, or, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that." So I wanted to get involved with the radio station, but they thought they were like a big commercial station. Like, this is a dinky college station.
I was on the radio for about 6 months.
Yeah, I'd said to them, this is a dinky college station. Let me bring my CDs from home and I will do a modern rock show. No. We have a format. You have to stick to the playlist. I said, nobody's listening anyway. So the signal carries to the stoplight down the corner. That's it. Nobody's listening to this.
Welcome to the train wreck, Matt.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going.
Matt Weiss, everybody. How's it going?
Friday night. We've been on for about an hour, I think.
Yeah, the sobriety check. So we were talking about
this is kind of just the end of the.
We're talking about crazy KK
and whatever else is going on in the chat here.
Well, it's like what I put it in the chat where it's just like you're absolutely right about was it Kathleen Kennedy and Amy Pascal kind of being in the same circle as just being a lesser of two evils in that sense. Where, like I said, it's just like, well, the great thing about Kathleen Kennedy's position is that she's like herpes; she'll be gone in 3 years.
Yeah, but don't you always have that?
Yeah, you kind of carry with it. And then when you're
stuck with like luggage.
What's that?
You're stuck with it it's like luggage.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I've said it on the Midnight's Edge group page every now and then. Anytime the Kathleen Kennedy post comes up, is that she's really a sandbag in a chair at this point. There is no reason to. Well, you have to look at it like that because they're slowing down productions now. They're not cranking out. They're not anticipating to crank out a production every other year now.
Yeah.
And Bob Iger is out of the Walt Disney Company in 2021.
Yeah, President Bob Iger, you mean?
Yes.
Like United States President Bob Iger.
No, please.
I don't want to go that way.
No more CEO president.
You know what, though? He probably... I'm not even going to get into it. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's... I know you're going...
That's a whole other discussion. But let him run for mayor of Pasadena or whatever.
Mayor of Orlando. There you go.
Yes.
Governor. I was governor once.
There should be some requirement. All jobs have requirements. And I don't want to turn this into a political discussion. All jobs have requirements. There's prerequisites. It should be a requirement that if you want to be president of the United States, you have to have held a previous office. I don't care if it's sanitation director or whatever. You had to have something.
I've had a lot of those.
Yeah, but
sanitation director actually works because you're actually cleaning shit up.
Yeah. I said it's not 1803, and we're not all illiterate dirt farmers anymore.
Well, it's like whenever I go back to because you know me and my direct Sony hate. Where the thing is, everybody gets it wrong that they think that I hate Sony directly. I'm like, no. I hate Sony Pictures. I love Sony Interactive. Sony Interactive is.
I love Sony Computer Entertainment. Yeah.
But their new president and CEO is basically saying, "Oh, we're going to give Sony Pictures another chance." I'm like, "Why? You just laid off how many different? They laid off their marketing and distribution. Like they had a massive layoff over the summer of that. You can't go on saying that everything's hunky dory." And Disney at least had the gall to say, "We're pulling back. Kathleen's getting extended because we have no idea who's going in." Because no one wants to go into a tainted Lucasfilm right now.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem. The job has been tainted. I mean, it's a position you're not going to be able to fill this position with anybody competent. You're going to have to promote somebody from the inside.
Exactly. And again, there's a lot of turmoil right now in Disney because ABC Studios is having a problem. The Disney ABC television group is having a problem. Lucasfilm is having a problem. And despite Marvel's still hanging on, but this recent controversy with James Gunn. And if there is any controversy to the Captain Marvel thing, unless that's just more publicly made, if anything, we don't know that yet, but we have to wait and see because now I hate to say it, but when there's just so much going on with Disney right now that you can't really tell what's best for them in the future until Iger leaves.
Yeah. I hate to think Kathleen Kennedy is going to be promoted to CEO. I really do.
No. I don't see that happening. I really think that because Iger wasn't a bad boss. It's just like when I say with Michael Eisner. Michael Eisner was a good thing for Disney at the time. But then there was a pinnacle. he made it and then he broke it. He was doing like expansions for the theme parks that were ludicrous. The infamous Euro Disneyland debacle. He tried doing things that were, was it Disney's California Adventure and all that. And then all these studio acquisitions that almost tanked Disney to the point where it almost got sold off. Where Iger's case is that he was a TV exec. Like he was directly out of the Disney ABC television group. And now there's almost a sense like Iger doesn't really care much. He's just here for this Fox merger.
A lot of people forget, and even though we get called Disney lovers all the time.
Oh God, no!
Bring this up quite often. Outside of the Marvel acquisition, outside of the Marvel acquisition and the Pixar deal, almost every other thing Disney has tried hasn't worked. They have spent buttloads and buttloads of money on trying to recapture Pirates of the Caribbean. They have spent buttloads and buttloads of money up until the point when they got Frozen. Before that, almost every single movie they made other than the Rapunzel one, what was it called? Tangled.
Yeah.
That was like one of the only other ones they had that was profitable as far as Disney's animated features for the last decade or better. They spent, I don't know how much money on that Mars Needs Moms movie.
Again, this is when they were trying to partner with Zemeckis. Because Polar Express did well, and they were just like, "Oh well, we want this animation. We want Mars Needs Moms. We need the Jim Carrey's A Christmas Carol." Where,
and I know again, Mom lost them like $200 million or more.
What's weird is that Disney didn't need to go outside of their own, circle for their animation projects. So like you had, like, I don't remember, this was after Eisner shut down Walt Disney Animation Studios, because that did happen. That did happen after Home on the Range. He shut it down completely, and it was just going to be Pixar from there on out.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things, the other thing too is they just announced, didn't they announce an all-female reboot of Pirates of the Caribbean?
It's going to be led by Red.
I was going to say it's not going to be all female. They're just, I don't really give a fuck.
I'm furious at this because there are so many other avenues that they could go about this. If anybody's a Disney fan, they know what the Society of Explorers and Adventurers are. The Society of Explorers and Adventurers are a group in Disney lore, particularly in Disney Sea down in, I'm getting this wrong, but I think it's Hong Kong, or yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Hong Kong. And the Society of Explorers and Adventurers are actually intertwined into all these different stories. That's why I think they're going with this whole Jungle Cruise route, although I'm not a fan of Dwayne Johnson being in it because he's in yet another frickin' jungle movie. And this whole thing of jumping on pirates right away just seems like you're jumping on something that's already half dead, and you want to basically put the paddles on it and see if there's any life to it. That's the wrong way to take it with this.
It's because they have nothing else.
Exactly. And rather than going with Guillermo del Toro, who's been wanting to do a Haunted Mansion remake since God knows when, many people that I've talked to said they'd rather see that.
I thought it was a good movie.
Oh God. I watched that.
I watched this in of it literally.
What was it, 2003 that came out? And I'm just like, good Lord.
But you could be right. I can't remember now. It was right after Pirates.
But like I said, I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark last week. I was watching Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom tonight, and I just keep getting the feeling it's not, whenever they announce a new something new in the pipeline, it's not a feeling anymore. Oh, cool. I wonder what this is going to be like. It's me saying, man, how are they going to fuck this up?
Well, we haven't even brought up like John Carter. We haven't even brought up Tron. Even if you like the movie, it lost some money, I believe, or barely broke even.
Yeah. Legacy didn't break even, but Legacy had a lot of, like, it had a cult following. It still has a cult following.
And then you also had the biggest snafu of them all, which was the Lone Ranger, which cost about $300 million.
Yeah, major stick taps to Armie Hammer for actually, apologizing for what he said about Stan Lee, but that's a different topic.
That's a totally, but yeah.
But then again, he had to have what's his name?
Jeffrey Dean Morgan come out.
Yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. So you actually had an ABC actor come out and smash him in the head.
Came out and said, "Hey, fucker."
But let's pose a question though. We talk about you mentioned the Lone Ranger. How much did the Lone Ranger bombing set them back? It was obvious that they were counting on this to become.
I want to say it was around $300 million.
Not just in terms of the single film, but I mean they were counting on this to become another Pirates.
Well, yeah, because they gave Johnny I don't know how much money.
Yeah,
I think he was 100 of that, and then or at least 90 probably.
Trying to look up who had the rights to Lone. I don't know if that was an ABC property or not.
It might be like King Feature Syndicate or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
See, I think Disney owns, they bought out some of the smaller comic companies too, I think. I'm not sure, but.
Well, I think Paramount still has, King's Feature, because the only reason I remember that is because Popeye. But thank you, Sony, for ruining that animated feature from ever happening.
And yeah, I like John Carter too, Patrick Ollinger, but it doesn't matter because they spent way too much on it and nobody went and saw it. So, I mean, that's just it. And outside of the movies that we've mentioned and Pixar movies, which to me, a lot of Pixar movies have suffered since they went and spread, Lasseter out like peanut butter all over the animation studio and Pixar. You could feel it in both ends. And then look at movies like Wreck-It Ralph, which should have been a Pixar movie.
I feel it feels like there's kind of an internal struggle right now between the two studios. Like each of them is trying to fight.
Yeah, neither one of them has their real identities, and the other one's battling the other. And then you bring up Frozen, which we did earlier. And don't get me wrong on that one; I believe it's completely overrated. I said that in the chat too, and I've said it a million times. The thing with Frozen was, it was just one of those movies at the time where Disney had nothing but garbage for so long that when you had a movie that wasn't horrid or wretched, people ate it up and lapped it up like it was, the best thing they've ever had, when it's not that great.
Okay. Well, according to the Wikipedia entry, take this with a grain of salt, Universal has the rights to the Lone Ranger. I don't know how that factors into it. It was in the hands of DreamWorks for a long time.
Well, they might have
why
picked
Disney
it up
filmed
some kind of
IndieWire,
kind of turnaround or something, maybe. Because I'm sure that the Lone Ranger is a property that's been on the table for God knows how many years.
Because I did look it up, and it was ABC did do the original series. ABC did the original series.
So maybe they do have some sort of rights. Maybe the movie is more of a remake of the TV show, perhaps.
Possibly.
Maybe there's certain aspects they couldn't touch that weren't in the TV show. I don't know. I'd have to get into the rights. Yeah.
Well, it was
like Star Trek Discovery, 25% different.
Well, people don't believe on that either, but anyway.
Like many of the whole property rights, especially the ones based on the theme park attractions, they got the major start of that was the Tower of Terror Wonderful World of Disney movie. I don't know if anybody's remembered seeing that with Steve Guttenberg and Kirsten Dunst, where they actually did a whole blown movie based on the Tower of Terror. And the only problem with it is that many people were saying, where's the Twilight Zone aspect of it? And apparently Disney didn't want to work with CBS to do this whole melding of a 90-minute movie of a Twilight Zone special, which I think would have been better. But, that's Disney for you.
Yeah. So, no, it's not like we're always on the side of Disney. And then another one, somebody said something about why is that chicken trying to eat the rock? That reminded me of Chicken Little. That was another one. Some money. Well,
Psychoke and Razalon wants to know: are we going to review Detective Pikachu? I wonder. He wonders. I don't know much about Detective Pikachu, and normally I don't want to review a movie I haven't seen.
If my kid forces me to go see it, I might, but I have no frame of reference. I'm not in that. You're closer to that age group, Matt.
Yeah, I'm probably going to see it because, just for me, my selling point is that I'm probably going to go. I'm probably going to have a little bit to consume on my way there, and Ryan Reynolds is Pikachu. So that's my selling factor to at least.
Well, maybe we can get you on over the Christmas break, or when does it come out? No, it comes out next year, doesn't it?
Well, let me ask you, Matt. Though, how much power do you think? Getting back to Disney and Kathleen Kennedy, how much power do you think Kathleen Kennedy has now? Do you think she's just pretty much just saying, yeah, go telling Bob Iger's telling her go play in traffic, or
I think at this point, because this is purely a speculation and going off of what they've said so far, is that they are pretty much saying, Kathleen, you are going to sit in this chair. You are not going to move from this chair, and you're going to nod when we tell you to.
Oh, wow.
Well, not just like that. I've brought up how many times. Look at this. She's only there for another 3 years.
Exactly.
What is she going to really be able to do in 3 years?
This is her retirement package, really.
Pretty much.
Because you've got episode 9, which was already happening. You've got the TV shows, which were already happening. And you got Indiana Jones, which was already happening.
I mean, I've got more faith in the TV productions right now because of Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
The only reason.
I did, but he's also okay. Here's my thing, and I don't want to say this because it could be true. As much as I love Jon Favreau, he can become a yes man. Look at Iron Man 2. Look at Cowboys and Aliens.
Iron Man 3, for that matter, because he yesed himself out of a picture.
Basically, but it's like, well, I got to give him credit for that because my feeling is they probably went to him and said, "You want to do this?" If not, and because obviously he's still friendly enough to be in the movies.
He did fight for Robert Downey Jr. though.
There's a lot of things that I think 3 was just one of those things where it's just like, look, you guys do this, I can't handle the pressure. Iron Man 2 was too much for me. I have a feeling that, or he was busy doing something else at the time, but he wasn't busy enough not to act. I don't know the whole story. Maybe Disney just decided, we're not going to go with him again.
But another
backlash. Who knows?
Another thing, though, it's just like I said, Lucasfilm is just in this weird position now, where they are not giving fans anything they really want. And especially true after episode 8. Yeah. And let's just like, well, Matt, were you in on this conversation? I'm getting old man. I'm getting old man.
Where I basically just pointed out the whole fact that, really stop and think about it. When have we, not just with Disney, but in the history of Star Wars, from Lucas himself, when have we ever gotten anything we really, really wanted? Who wanted Ewoks? Who wanted droids? Who wanted the Ewok movies? Who wanted the prequels? It's like,
but especially more so now. I mean, fans. Yeah. But now the thing is, though, really, how could you know what fans want back in 1983? When Battle for Endor came out, or whatever.
I know what they want. Well, fuck them. This is what I want. Teddy bears. They sell.
I mean, that's exactly what it was at that point, though, is that he had complete control of the merchandising, and he knew if he put it in his movie, kids would buy it.
Yeah. But like I said, now, I mean, fans are like, what? Okay. It said, let's just like, I'm paraphrasing here, hey, we're saying Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, that Ewan McGregor, get Ewan McGregor right now on the phone. Make an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie. Okay, cool. Young Han Solo. No. Okay. Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah. That would rock. Knights of the Old Republic. Make it happen. Cassian Andor series. Hey, the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy, he would be really cool. Indiana Jones. Get him. 80-year-old Harrison Ford. I'm like, wait, hold on. What are you people doing over there? What kind of drugs are you taking?
Good ones.
Was it Blue Cat 42 says here, like the Clone Wars animated show. That was a great thing for fans.
I still have a hard time getting into it though, because I was such a non-prequel fan. Like the prequels really turned me off in a lot of ways. You guys got to remember, don't give George so much fucking credit. This guy took a big fat check for the Christmas special. He had very little to do with the Ewok movies.
Just completely eradicating the original cut too.
Yeah. Would it be fair to say though that Clone Wars was the last thing that was sort of fan centric?
I think it was. Sorry, go ahead. No, because you know more about animation.
I can give it that because at least when it was over with, because it was at Cartoon Network Studios, I think that's what it was at that point.
Warner Brothers, I think, but yeah.
Warner Brothers Animation. But you got a little bit of a sense because it wasn't so centric around the Skywalkers, because that's the one thing I can't stand about the original thing, or not the original thing, excuse me, the new run with that Abrams started, is that it seems to fall back on the original characters because these new characters have no legs. They have no legs. They can't run on their own without a Skywalker or a Yoda or something coming in to basically say, oh, yeah, do you remember this? Do you remember this? And dangles it in front of you.
But even if that's true, they're still doing their damnedest to get rid of it. That's right. The other side of it.
That's the other part of it. It's like, while I don't entirely like The Force Awakens, I appreciate having Han Solo in there. Because at that point, I'm just going, okay, he's here. We can close the chapter of that book. And then having Luke come in at the end. That's probably my only favorite bit, is that him leaving. Everything else about that movie is just asides to nothing. And to hear that Leia's coming back for the 9th film, possibly, like, no, you let that go. You have an off-screen thing that says she didn't make it. She went.
Well, you kind of fucked yourself there. You can't. And that's all Rian Johnson's fault. Because I had to come back to life in outer space. That's why. So you already showed her as like this impossible thing to kill. Nobody's going to believe she was killed off screen now.
Right.
You have that problem. Do I give a shit if they're really going to bring her back through old footage? No, that's fine. Whatever. Let her have one more go at it. I'm sure there's enough shit there to use in some way, shape, or form.
If the estate is okay with it,
yeah,
I'm okay with it.
And it sounded like this has been a plan since early on, so I'm sure they worked around whatever they had more so than anything. So I'm sure she's not going to be in the movie a shit ton. She's probably going to be in the movie like 3 times.
Well, just little general Organa moments where he's just like, okay, or General Skywalker moments where it's just, okay, there she is. Okay, there she goes.
Yeah, she'll be in like one part in the beginning, one in the middle, and then one at the end.
Pretty much.
I think that's about it. Because it sounds like they're what we hear, we can't really go at this point. Not that I really care, but it's like, just by what we hear anymore, I don't know what to go by, because we've also heard things that, we can, and it's been pretty much verified that Kathleen Kennedy's kind of on the outside ring of this whole thing, and JJ has like full control over the reins. So this is his shot to show what he can do with a conclusion. Everybody always talks about, he never finishes anything because he backed out of, a lot of his shows and stuff before they finished. He didn't stay on board for episode 8, even though he probably should have in hindsight, whether you like him or not, because of the whole simple fact is, at least it would have probably been more coherent.
Well, then you would have had bumpers for Rian Johnson, because the guy ran around and did what he wanted.
Well, now we're even hearing that it's Rian Johnson's fault that the film ended the way it did anyway. The Force Awakens, that is.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Rian Johnson's just a selfish prick. He really is. Everybody move that way. Fuck you guys.
Remind me again what he said, where he's just like, he's okay with people being upset about it, and then he goes on Twitter being upset that people are upset about it.
He said he likes the idea of making a movie that's going to piss off half the audience. I'm like, well, congratulations. That's what you got.
I get what he's saying with the sentiment, but when it comes to something like this, you can't say that. This is not fucking Looper. Okay? This is not a movie you put out there for the reason to make people debate. You know what I mean?
Like, this is almost like, not to interject Ghostbusters here, but that's kind of the same thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like you're appealing to a fan base, especially like in like this. The reason I put Ghostbusters into this is because they kind of have the same fan upbringing in the same sense, because they're both pretty much born out of the 70s and 80s. Like the Ghostbusters more of the 80s, but you have to have this kind of respect to the audience, because I don't care what people say, fans do have an ownership stake in the materials that they follow. They do. If you buy a piece of merch, you are an owner of that. You care about this franchise. You want this franchise to succeed. And when you have studios that don't understand that concept, that think we're just going to make our own thing and throw, the fans' care and cherishment.
Yeah,
I just made a word up probably there. And
I do it all the time, so that's all right. I think it's a lot.
I was going to say Rian Johnson reminds me of my brother when he burned the clutch out of my car. He said, he lets the clutch out on the highway, and you hear it going, roo, 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 and you say to him, "Are you? Is the clutch slipping?" "No." And then you hear a bang. I said, "You just ruined the clutch," and he looked. "Shut up! I made it better." Like, yeah, you made my car your car.
You made a really good point that you don't even realize it. Yeah, because you shouldn't be comparing your brother to Rian Johnson. You should be comparing your brother to Kylo Ren. That's the biggest problem, is these people have forgotten that these people are, to us, like family members, and continuity and rules are like history. They don't treat it that way, though.
Like they pretty, like, it's back when Ghostbusters came out. It's just, oh, well, they hate the movie. Well, they'll buy the Ecto Cooler. They'll buy the classic toys we're re-releasing. Well, they'll just buy stuff, but they'll not see the movie. They are banking on that.
It reminds me of the Ninja Turtles too. It's like, oh yeah, you can keep shoveling the new shit out there, but as much as you shovel out there, you can't deny the fact that, oh well, the only thing that sells is the old stuff. And don't tell me if you don't bring out like Ninja Turtle cereal or something like that, that shit wouldn't fly off the shelves too.
They'd bring back Turtle Pies through Hostess if they had to.
Oh yeah, they probably did for like Out of the Shadows or something in some way I didn't even know about, but that's just my point exactly. It's like you have to keep going back to the well. That negates the whole reason for redoing the shit. The same thing with the She-Ra thing. Fuck the whole LGBT thing. The point that really matters is the fact that you have to use something like She-Ra and keep putting new things over top of it and making excuses for it not to connect to He-Man and all this other bullshit. And like Rob keeps saying, how did you get your powers? I don't know thing. Well, that's why, is because they couldn't connected to He-Man right now, so it's its own thing. Why even try? Why even bother? Why not make an entirely new fucking character?
Starting to sound like my emoji trailer breakdown.
Right, exactly. Like, just call her Ugboot Sadie Ray. I don't give a fuck what you call her, but just don't call her She-Ra.
She-Ra, she's just basically stumbling into a plot. That's all it is.
Much.
Well, I haven't seen the show yet, but from what I've heard, I know there's a lot of people that are sticking up for it, but I don't even think that they realize what they're trying to stick up for is pointless, because they're missing the entire point. It doesn't matter about the LGBT thing. It doesn't matter about sexualizing the characters so much. And even if they did make certain comments back on the old shows, it never went beyond anything more than just...
Wait a minute. Kush says she found the sword in the woods. It was sent to her from wherever. Really?
Yeah,
is
I
that
think
true?
That's what Mecca said too.
Oh,
yeah,
for God's sake!
Remember? Yeah, that's what she said. It was like just there, and the sword basically tells her what to say. They reference Grayskull for what reason? None other than just because that's what she's supposed to say. And that's what I was bringing up with the whole Ghostbusters thing before too. Is like, everything they had to do had to keep reminding and bringing it back to the original film. Then that negates the whole reason of doing a remake.
This is that whole thing where I think we talked about it eons ago, where we were talking about all these different franchises coming back because it's the norm, where like anything that comes back has to come back because of pop culture. But it seems to be a lot of, did you remember this? Because if you remember this, you're going to get it, and you're going to be in the audience, and you're just going to be going, oh, look, they did it. They did the thing that, I remember from way back when. But they're even failing at that aspect.
It's not about, it's okay, this is gonna be a bit esoteric for some, but it's like Glee. Remember the show Glee?
Yes.
Who can forget it?
It's like the show Glee. Someone once asked me, why do you hate Glee? Because it's bringing music to people. I said, it's not bringing music to people. It's all they're doing is taking things you're already familiar with, putting it in a slightly different, more sanitized package,
like Kids Bop.
Yeah, and saying, hey, and so people can say, hey, I recognize that. And they're hoping that is enough for people.
Right. And I'm glad you brought up the sanitized part, because that's a perfect example. Because there's another perfect example of this whole SJWPC, what have you culture. We don't like bringing up those words, but it's true in a sense that you had a show that was supposed to be at the forefront of the LGBT movement and all this other stuff. And they do the music from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh boy!
And they sanitize it.
What Time Warp? What?
No, Sweet Transvestite and a few other things. They
did Sweet Transvestite,
and they changed it so it wasn't. Yeah, and it's like, oh my good God!
It's almost Sweet Transvestite.
Somebody remind me in the chat what they changed it to, but
oh my God!
It's like
for the Fox live telecast.
No, for the Glee version of it.
Oh, okay.
The Fox telecast did some other stupid shit too. That thing was a fucking horrendous train wreck. That part is, I swear, unless this is another one of my Mandela moments, I swear they did this like a couple of years back.
I thought you meant they did it in She-Ra.
But no, this is all getting back around. But She-Ra too, I don't care.
Yeah, this is the thing, because down in Milwaukee, you see all these different things like in the arts rag that we have down here. There's actually like a high school production of Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I'm just like, why? Because you're
how
not
sanitized is that?
exactly how far are you going to go? And I'm just like, as you said, the Glee version is like, what's the point of sanitizing if it's not going to go with the original songwriters wants or what they?
Well,
what
I could
they
understand it if you were
want.
doing it for like a kids
I-
show or a teen show, but Glee itself was known for its progressive LGBT,
It's like
storytelling and
we're
shit.
okay, but we're not that okay.
But like, it's like, why is that not okay to talk about then? Why can't you not just sing the Rocky Horror was like the premier thing that the gay community held up and said, here, this is something that's worthwhile and actually speaks to us in a lot of ways, and not just speaks to us, but everybody in a lot of ways.
But we get back to that. This is how that relates to She-Ra. But I mean, like you said, all people like Noelle Stevenson are concerned with is not that. I mean, she's just doing what a lot of millennials are doing. She's taking something that's already familiar and she's reverse engineering it
In a bad way and making it worse.
But she's throwing enough references in to say, look, I'm honoring it by making sure I point out this little thing that you might recognize. But she's like, but I'm really tearing it apart, and you don't, and that's what I'm really doing. You know what I mean? It's like I said, same thing, the whole deconstruction thing, and Mecca, she was saying about this, it just feeds into this whole kind of Tumblr fanfic thing. I mean, and I actually tweeted either yesterday or today or whatever it was. When did Tumblr become so influential? What happened? I didn't get the memo. And it's just like we have all these properties now, nostalgia properties that are going through this. People, they're being strip mined and they're being sold back to us. But what we're getting is, we're saying, what did you do? You fucked this up. Well, it's not for you. Well, who's it for then?
It's like you're being punished and you don't know why.
Exactly.
Because when Ghostbusters 2016 came out, and I'm seeing the trailer for the first time, I'm like, this isn't for me. This isn't for me at all. This isn't, and I wasn't alone in that. Yeah. I wasn't alone because the worst insult of that was that it wasn't a passing of the torch or anything. It was a direct remake.
Yeah. Well, not just that, and they went out of their way to directly attack the old fans.
Right, because
especially male members of that group.
They knew the fans weren't happy.
And ignore the female fans.
Right.
And like I said, we brought this up too with Thundercats, the guy Victor Courtright or whatever the hell his name was. And Professor Geek, I've actually rewatched that video recently. He thought it was like a joke, like a Saturday Night Live skit, where he says, "Oh yeah, I'm a big Thundercats fan," with his little man bun and his little plaid shirt and his little ratty mustache. And I'm like,
a fan of Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
He's seen it once in 1984.
Wow.
And he didn't understand why it was and he said he even didn't understand why. He thought it was a good comedy, but he didn't understand why it was a big deal.
And that's the wrong guy. And that's okay. Granted, I don't want to give away anything, but I talked to somebody who's a perfect example for the other person, and that would be Nicholas Meyer. There's a good example of bringing somebody on board who may not be familiar with what you're doing, but he understands character. He understands how to make characters work together. And he had a little bit of directing and writing and all this other stuff behind him, even though he didn't know shit about Star Trek. Star Trek 2 turned out to be everybody's favorite Star Trek film.
Yeah. But and that feeds into another thing. Nicholas Meyer, he knows about character, he knows about writing. Noelle Stevenson, Paul Feig, and a lot of other guys, they don't know anything about writing. They don't know anything about storytelling. They don't know anything about character. They don't know anything about narrative. All they know is, well, and Alex Kurtzman and Alex motherfucker Klutzman, or whatever you want to call him, whatever the fuck his name is.
Klutzman's applicable.
Yeah, I'm getting angry. I'm starting to stammer now. All they know is this is something that I can remake and bend it and shape it any way I want. And when you challenge them on it, when you challenge any of their supporters, they say the same thing. Well, these are fictional characters. You could do whatever you want. No, you can't. You have to respect the material. If you're gonna do whatever the hell you want, then do something of your own. Okay,
And
if
that's
you want to play with you want to play with my toys, you have to respect them enough to not break them when you give them back to me.
Right, because Nicholas Meyer understood going in that even though he wasn't a Trek fan, he studied Trek enough to realize, okay, this is Horatio Hornblower in space.
Yeah.
He figured that out. But he also knew how to respect characters. Maybe he didn't respect all the canon and certain little bits and pieces, ins and outs here and there, but it didn't matter because the story was good enough and everything was right in the world of Star Trek enough to where the little shit didn't seem to bother more people than the few geeks out there that it did. In the sense that because he had worked on things like the 7% Solution and Time After Time, where they were very heavy in, these are characters that everybody knows or real people in this in the case of Freud, so it's like you got to pay respect to what people know about them and how they work, and he worked diligently and hard to find the connections, and I think that really carried over into his work into Star Trek 2 in a way that, okay, I understand who these people are. That was more important than understanding shit about Star Trek, and that is what I was getting to about it. It matters more to understand that these characters are actual people. Too many times we keep talking about how too many of them are mouthpieces, or not even to bring up more Star Trek, but how Mikey Spock gets brought up, because she's just brought in for plot points, for something to happen.
I never realized Time After Time was a Nicholas Meyer movie. That is it's actually a really good movie.
And I wanted to talk to him more about that too, but I had very little time and we got very little out of him. So that interview's coming. I didn't mean to bury the whole surprise.
No, that's fine. But like I said, Time After Time is a good. These are characters you kind of familiar with H.G. Wells. You know who Jack the Ripper is, but he gives them more depth though.
Yeah. Well, and he puts at the point, like, he finds a reason to put two characters that should have no reason together. Same thing with the 7% Solution, where he put together Freud and Sherlock Holmes. And he found the connection through cocaine, or he found the same thing with, Time After Time. It was like, well, what if this guy got a hold of a time machine and that's why he disappeared, and the only one who could save him be H.G. Wells, and how a lot of people, I'm sure, fantasized about, H.G. Wells knows all this stuff because he actually has a time machine.
One of the other things too about, like I said, Nicholas Meyer, he talks about, I remember the interview he did with the movie channel for The Wrath of Khan. He said, you never see Captain Kirk go to the bathroom, but you never, and that would be ridiculous because, why would you want to see that? But I always thought, what if we showed him just sitting down reading a book? And there's actually a couple scenes. It's actually compelling. He sits down, he starts to read, and the glasses are broken.
Well, he gets into the stuff in the commentary on the Blu-ray, actually, yeah.
But you see, like part of him is broken because he lost his best friend, and that represented the glasses. But at the same time, like I said, I mean, the whole thing, the Khan character, and when you talk about, let's just take a case study. Yeah, and we're kind of going long here, but it's actually a good comparison to make. People talk about Luke Skywalker. Oh, well, he's not the same Luke Skywalker. Okay, you know what? We don't know what happened to him in the 30-odd years between Return of the Jedi and Episode 8. The Khan character, we have an idea of what happened to him between Space Seed and the Wrath of Khan because they tell you what happened.
Well, not only that, that's a good example. We didn't get to see Kirk for a long time either.
Right.
Yes.
And then the way they present him in part 2 is almost even like the first Star Trek movie didn't even happen to a point.
Yes.
And it's hard. It's just not an exposition dump either. You find it out progressively.
He's still the same Kirk, but he's not. And it's him wanting to get back to that old Kirk that he knows he can't do because he's an old man now, not a young man, and he even says it in that one, you can tell in that part, even though he, adventures are for the young men or how does he say it? It's about jumping across the cosmos and we're not young men anymore. However he puts it out. I'm sorry. I totally forgot how he says the line, but
there's that great scene though on Regula where he goes, she's saying, tell me how you feel, Jim. He says, there's a man out there who I haven't seen in 15 years there's a man out there I haven't seen in 15 years who's trying to kill me. And you show me a son that would gladly help him. You're asking how I feel? I feel old.
Right.
Yeah. Just You know,
well,
but
that, like you said, and then we realized he got a son and all this other stuff that he didn't take away from the character, didn't turn him into something we could never see Kirk as, but at the same time changed him in so many fucking ways.
yeah. And I keep saying a lot. I keep saying, okay, listen, I was never that big a reader, but I read tons of comics. And I did eventually, I read Lord of the Rings. I love Clive Cussler, and I did do some reading, but the required reading was always terrible and never really interested me. But I did enough reading of things like I said, comics, like Marvel, the X-Men, Daredevil, to know what makes a good story. And I tell people who say they want to get into this field, they want to get into that field, and I tell them all the time, even like guys who would say to me, I want to get into video games. I want to make video games. I said, okay, what are you studying? Oh, I'm studying programming. I'm studying this. I'm studying that. It was all technical. And I would tell them all the same thing. Take a writing class.
Exactly.
Take a writing class. Oh, but I don't see. No, take a writing class. Read, study literature, because all you're doing is building blocks. You're taking things. You're building blocks. You're not giving them life. And and the more you know about stories, and study film, study literature, go back, read.
Well, and that's why Red Dead Redemption 2 is so popular.
I was just about to say that.
That is that's better than any movie I saw last fucking year.
Like, well, one of the things that many people forget, that they bought this off of Capcom. I forgot if Rockstar bought the Red Dead.
The Red Dead, yeah, and it was, they had to basically overhaul it anyway because it was unplayable.
Because Revolver was basically, okay, this is what we can do with it. Then Redemption came along, and basically, this is when we started seeing Rockstar coming off of GTA 4 and doing like narrative things, like actually going with it. It wasn't just mission-based gameplay. You're actually being told part of a story by starting a mission, going through the mission, and then completing the mission. In Red Dead Redemption 2, which I've finished playing, it is a masterful display of writing that they took the time down to sit down in this. Another good one, Marvel's Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4.
I want to play that. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to. But
I might be doing. I'm going to be doing Black Friday next week at Target. I'm hoping to
get
pick
that special. Get that
special.
Yes,
$200. I'm like, yeah, damn if I have the money or not. Well, I won't have to pay till January. So that's another thing.
Even with the bundles that they're doing, or for the season pass that they're doing for Spider-Man, they're well written out. They've thought this through. Insomniac made it part of their mission not to go by any comic book arc that wasn't, specific. They wanted to go off of their own terms. And that's smart, because that allows them to create their own character arc and create their own chemistry. You can keep the same grounded chemistries, but you can build it at the rate that you want it to, and not to something that's already preset.
But I have the feeling they love and respect and cherish the character enough that they're saying, well, we've got to do this right. Exactly. I really do get the feeling.
You get that with Sony Interactive, but you won't get that with Sony Pictures.
No. One of the other things, actually, another great example, and people say to me, I want to get into video games. Because play Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear. Play Metal Gear. Even today, even though it looks primitive, even today, that is just, there's parts of that are absolutely.
That's the first game I ever got hooked on, like the story part.
Yes.
Like, I played, of course, Mario Brothers to try and finish it, and all the games like Nintendo games to try and get to the end and beat them, as we used to say back in the day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that was the first game where it was different. It was like, okay, this has nothing to do with getting to the game just to beat it. It's like, I got to know what the fuck happens next.
Yeah.
And then the next time I remember that was kind of probably GTA 3 and, Vice City and stuff like that. And then like Matt brought in GTA 4 was like the next level. It was like crazy. And I know people have talked a lot about some of the newer Metal Gear games. The one I tried playing, I couldn't play it. It was just too fluid movement to where it made me freaking sick. The first person part of the game at the beginning of the Metal Gear games. I got to try it again, but I don't know if there's one for the PS4 or not. But
actually, the Phantom Pain is the one for PS. It's on PS4, which is actually, even though that's Kojima's last game, it's still good. It's still really good.
Konami.
I know, but still,
But Red Dead is so good. I've thought about doing like a straight up review of it, like it's a movie almost.
Oh,
I would definitely.
The story is just amazing as hell.
You can even find several YouTubers have already strung the cinematic sequences together and have filled
like
the gaps
10
with the
hours.
story.
Yeah.
Mage Grey Wolf. The only advice anybody can give is if you want to be a writer, keep reading and read all you can. Read everything from the great Stan Lee. Yes.
Man of Action says he thought GTA 5 was shit. Yeah, the story wasn't up to par for 5.
No.
5 was more of just we need a GTA game for the new system. And hopefully and they've done a lot of online stuff after the fact. I think that was more of the whole thing for GTA 5 is they wanted a PS4 platform. They could do more online stuff and downloadable content and stuff like that. Yeah.
Because 4, they tried the online material and it was just an outright mess. And then Red Dead Redemption came along because this is when Rockstar was still avidly split on their studios. Like they had one in San Diego, they had Rockstar North,
right?
And I think that's pretty much come to a close now. That it's Red Dead Redemption 2 was solidly Rockstar Games. It wasn't Rockstar North, it wasn't San Diego. It was just straight through them. But GTA 5,
their biggest game, but the biggest game ever.
Well,
I think it took them like 3-4 years to put together.
I joke, and I'm like, people are like, well, why is GTA 5's online, or why is GTA making so much money on this? And then I'm like, and they're taking so long on Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out, and I'm like, see why they took their time? See what all that money's been going toward?
Mm-hmm.
Because that money went straight into this game.
Yeah. And Rockstar doesn't release a game unless it's going to be good.
Right, because Red Dead was way off. It's like almost a half a year. Or
I was telling people, be patient. Like they were like, oh God, it's been delayed another year. I'm like, let them work on it. Yes. They know what they're doing. I mean, the whole reason, like for GTA 5, they kind of went a little bit off the skew of what GTA 4 was doing with the whole 3-player selection was because of the add-on expansions to GTA 4. Because they're like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we could like have 3 primary characters, 3 playable characters, and then have the player actually encounter all 3 of those lives.
Well, they encouraged more online stuff. That's what I was trying to say with GTA 5. It seemed like that was more built for a platform so they could build on it with online activity more so. And they've come through with that. I'm constantly getting notices. I just don't have the time to play them. I'm constantly getting notices for, oh, this is online now. This online mission's on now. Check this out this weekend. I'm like, I just don't have the time.
And with the incoming Red Dead Online, even is going to be big. But they're taking.
I can't wait.
They're taking elements that worked for GTA 5, the online specifically, and going, okay, this is because that was the one thing that they encouraged is that they were like, okay, if you rated and reviewed each of our game maps or set games for online mode, that they would basically take that into note. They're taking that into note for Red Dead Online completely.
Yeah. Right. Well, one thing.
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah. Well, there's actually a game that was promised back in 2007 that I've been following on and off. Agent was supposed to be another big game, and they actually do make a reference to it in GTA 5 about an agent trying to a secret agent from the FIB trying to relive his former glory. Yeah. And the Aston Martin has the license plate that says agent on it. So there are subtle hints throughout there. There might even be a hint through Red Dead Redemption, something like some big, this guy worked for the government or something. I don't know.
Sometimes they just like to make references, but other times it's like don't ever count anything out when it comes to them, because what Matt was bringing up to begin with the whole thing with Capcom being involved with Red Dead, there was a bunch of buyouts, and that's how they ended up acquiring the game. Yeah. And they rebuilt it from the ground up, as far as I know. They only used like certain portions of what existed because
Red Dead Redemption was one of the most struggling productions for Rockstar.
Redemption or Red Dead Revolver. Yes. Sorry, Revolver is what I was talking about, and then Redemption was a completely different monster altogether.
Like Revolver was more of an arcade shooter. That was the whole thing. It was just a very stick 'em up,
slick version of what you call it from Back to the Future 2.
Wild Gunman.
Yes, that's basically what it was. It was supposed to use new. It was more so to show off the newer what's the word I'm looking for? Mechanics.
Yeah. They completely rebuilt the engine.
Yeah, because it didn't work. Yeah, it was just some fucking mess.
Because if I remember, they tried to integrate some of the engine work of GTA 4 into Redemption, which didn't go as planned, because if you play Redemption now, there's just a lot of flatness.
Like, I forgot how flat. Yeah, I really haven't played it in a long time, and I went back and looked at some videos of it just to kind of remind me, because Red Dead Redemption is actually a sequel. They're all backwards.
Yeah. Well, Red Dead Redemption 2 is even more backwards because now it's a prequel.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, because it's like, but then they treat Red Dead Revolver almost like it's a fictional story as well.
That never happened.
Yeah,
never.
But they talk about it. They reference it in both.
Oh
games,
yeah,
but
it's just the character of Red doesn't exist anymore, or doesn't exist in the
fictional character.
Yeah, he's their comic book character.
Well, hopefully by this time next week I'll be knee deep in Spider-Man and it's for PS.
I'm rooting for you, because
you also need to pick up Red Dead if you can find that on a Black Friday sale though too. That's a definite must. Because some people say, "Oh, it's the game of the year." No, that's that's going to be the game to beat of all time now.
Because Rockstar's now one of the leading contenders, because they've put it out there that they're not going to go into bed with a PlayStation anymore, because that used to be a thing. That they were like solely on the PlayStation 2. Like they used to be like the Grand Theft Auto 3, the original 2 Grand Theft Auto games were PS
I think
games.
the first game's even going to be on that mini PS that's coming out this Christmas.
Which it's a nice blast from the past when you had to play overhead.
Yeah, that's one of the only minis I'm not sure if I'm going to really jump at or not, because I got the 2 Nintendo ones, but
I like the Nintendo ones.
Beamstock says he's picking up a PS4 on Black Friday. I imagine they're going to get a whole like pallet of them in though.
I'm going to try and get Spider-Man if I can afford it, but yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to. So.
Do you think they're not going to just have on stock? They're probably going to get a whole buttload of them.
Well, I think Mecca made a good point. You should try online first if you can.
Cyber Monday. Go for Cyber Monday too.
If you can get it online, then you know you're guaranteed. But if you can't, then they sell out real quick. Then you can at least try to get them in the store.
Man. Well, anyway.
The thing is, those you have to remember is these Black Friday deals, and I know this for a fact because I know people who've worked at Walmarts and Best Buys and stuff like that, and they all tell me the same damn thing. They only get like maybe 4 or 5 of whatever it is they show you in the high items. Yeah.
High demand.
If you're not one of those that are right there to grab them right away, they're fucking gone. And very rarely have they ever given any kind of rain check on anything like that for a Black Friday, because most of them say it's specifically right in the thing. Because I think they did that because one year I remember at Walmart they were handing out a buttload of frickin' rain checks for like a tablet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think after that they made sure that it said it in pretty fine writing that
it's not a guarantee.
Yeah. And it's not a guarantee, because you're lucky if they have 3 to 5 of that item.
Well, it's like me when I was standing in line in Kohl's of all places. Out of nowhere, they just had like a random Canon T7 kit that I was like, oh, I'll pick that up. And you just stand in line. They're just handing you like literal tickets for the actual thing. They didn't want people.
That's what they got to that point too now, where it's like just because they don't want people standing around shit and trying to fight each other for stuff. That it's like they'll make a line for it, and if you're not the first X amount of people there, then you're fucked.
There's a reason why I call Jingle All the Way Black Friday the movie.
Yeah. Well, one of the things if I can't. We're doing and because the family's gotten so big, I don't know if anybody else does a Secret Santa. Anybody else do Secret Santa? Yeah,
every night. There's a different variation on it, but yeah, go ahead. I know what it is.
Otherwise, I'd have 10 nieces and nephews to buy gifts for. That's 10 for them alone. I got 4 brothers. I got 3 sister-in-laws. My mom. It just got too big. I'm like, this is just capitalism gone afoul. So I said, we're going to do Secret Santa. I'm like, we set a limit on it, $30. You just get one thing. That's it. Done. I get to enjoy the holiday. And I get I get to spend the rest of the money on me. So anyway, after that, but so granted, if I can't find I'm not getting a PS4, then I'm going to take a crack at building that guitar I've been talking about. Remember? They sell guitar. Yeah, I might look. I'm hoping I do. I've got.
Well, they're not. I don't think Target's going to be the only one that's going to have a deal if worse comes to worse anyway.
Oh no.
So, I mean, you may not get the exact one you wanted right off the bat, but I'm sure you'll run into something that's equal.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely don't write off Cyber Monday, because if you can get it online.
Yes.
Well, right. That's what I was saying. That way you guarantee you're going to get yourself a shipment of it. To where
I
it's
told you I broke my rollerblades and I actually ordered a new pair. I didn't have to wait for Cyber Monday. They were $20 off. So sweet.
You just take a red ringed Xbox 360 and make those into rollerblades. That'll work.
Yeah.
I don't know about the engineering aspects of that, but I'm sure you'd be recycling it.
Yeah. People always say, "Oh, why don't you have an Xbox 360?" It's because I don't want an Xbox 360. That's why.
I have never owned an Xbox yet.
Like the only reason, like one of the reasons I still have my Xbox One is because of the Games for Gold program, where I can actually get some free games for like, what is it, a $60 a month thing. But again, you're using Xbox Live Gold to stay on their online servers, and in the meantime, they're just giving you free games. And I got Red Dead Redemption. Was it a backward compatible Red Dead Redemption download for free?
How?
That's actually pretty cool.
That's for Games for Gold. If you're a part of their Gold program, they'll give you it.
You fucking
Xbox Live
like
Gold.
$100 to download. I was like, because I wanted to play it again, because I'm like, oh shit, I can't remember. And like, oh well, I watched the videos enough that I kind of lost that luster anyway. Especially ain't spending no $100, but
right,
$100.
You never know.
Place.
For $100, I can walk into a GameStop, walk out with a PS3, and the game itself for under $100. I bet.
Oh yeah,
I remember back then, back when Red Dead Redemption was in stores. I was in London at the time, and I was riding the tube and the underground. Huge billboard in the London Underground. Red Dead Redemption, big as life. And they actually, when I was there, they sold out. There wasn't afterwards, when the game was actually released in the UK, they sold out. Every single copy shipped to the UK sold. It was that big a deal.
I'm starting to learn that we need to have more of our game companies over in the UK, because they get it right for some reason.
Well, because they say the Brits have a great sense of
they got great humor. I know that
great sense of humor. But the thing is, they don't let themselves be swayed by anybody. You know, there's like, oh, sod off, you wanker. You know, like there's the people there. You got to admit, here there be people protesting outside their offices. Like, how go you? Remember because that whole thing about the suffragist? She was fed to an alligator.
Which I saw that on the ME post. I'm like, oh, thanks, SJWs. I didn't know I could do that. I'm going to try this now.
Yeah, but you know, like they were. You know, if they were based in Los Angeles or San Francisco or like
I'll cry in the streets.
That's as bad as in the first game when I figured out you could hog tie people and put them on the train track.
Oh,
I gotta try that. Oh god, I gotta try that.
It's fucking hilarious. I did it for hours. I know it's sad. It's
the
equivalent of going out and killing hookers in GTA. I think.
In Red Dead 2, they actually can get out of the rope, so I just got to keep a gun pointed.
Yeah,
I'm like,
oh, there's so much more interaction with it, and beyond just the actual, the story and all that. There's just so much more to do.
I saw a video of a horse kicking a guy. That's great.
Oh, and you gotta watch some of these glitch videos too, because
I've run into a few. I hate getting stuck. I hate getting stuck in something because then I have to load the game and it's like, oh, you dirty bastard. That's happened to me a couple of times now.
I think it's even worse that I'm hearing things like people like, oh well, Red Dead 2 was great, but it's not going to hold a candle to Fallout 76. Shut up.
Different game.
You can't compare. It's an MMO at this point.
I've actually never played Fallout
RPG. Yeah,
I've never played one. I don't know.
Red Dead BBC. Was it a Fallout? I actually like more than the Elder Scrolls a little bit, because I kind of like that whole post-apocalyptic, surviving the wasteland kind of thing. But like, there's a good story to Fallout 4, but 76 that they're doing, I'm just like, I have no need to just be. I don't like online only forced games. I want single player games. I like single player games. Single player games can have a narrative and can be fun.
RVL 480 van.
Yeah, but
anyone looking forward to The Last of Us 2? Yeah, it looks good.
But the thing that Red Dead has going for it is it has guys like Rob and I's age who are still in that group of kids who still played cowboys and stuff. Now we actually get to really play cowboys.
Oh yeah,
Right.
oh yeah.
Because I can't remember which video I was watching. It's been going through the history of Red Dead. If I find it, I'll link it. But basically, they said that many people didn't touch the Western for so long. Like, yeah, you had Call of Juarez, which wasn't good. It was fun at the time, but nobody could really do a strong narrative until Rockstar came along and said, "Let's give this a try."
Well, Gun or whatever it is more of a predecessor than
Gun was very good. I still have that.
I think
we got
Gun was the thing that Capcom was going after. They said, "Oh, Gun was good. Let's do something like that."
Probably, I think Gun came after, but I think that's when Rockstar saw Gun. They're like, "Oh shit, this is what we need to make, and only better."
This is the bar at that point.
And then basically it was like, let's put GTA in the Old West, and that's really what it was.
So. I kind of hate that. Like, it's a perfect analogy to what it is, because like you can basically just jack a horse on anybody's horse and just go.
Well, and it is true, because I seen an interview with the guy who does the voice of John Marston, and that's exactly what he said, is they kept referring to GTA 4.
Just, God, I love that voice cast.
They kept saying, do you remember in GTA 4 when they did this? Or do you remember in the part when they did this? Or like that. He said they kept referring to it all the time. And it was funny because he had never played it.
Oh, wow.
So he kept lying to him and saying, oh, yeah. And then finally they caught on to him that he was lying, but they thought it was funny.
But like, if that's something that nobody's come across yet, if you hear this voice cast for...
which is funny because he was in a bunch of commercials before that where I don't think he ever spoke.
Oh, wow. But yeah, this voice cast for Red Dead Redemption 2 is just like, you believe that these are grizzled members of a gang. Like, you hear John Marston again. Like, I was waiting to hear John Marston again. I'm just like, oh my god.
Well, I think all the voices are back if they were in the first game. I think they're all the same people. And then
you still have Dutch, you still have Bill.
Yeah, and if they're new people, they did great. They did great. See, the first time around, I'm like, oh, that's got to be somebody famous. I recognize that voice. And it never really was anybody that big, but it's just they were so well casted. Yeah,
I think the only famous person that I knew, like, that's now famous because of a Rockstar game, is Stephen Ogg. And he's been in stuff because of Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah. Sorry, we're trying not to spoil anything, Tyler. We haven't really said anything because I know Rob hasn't played it yet either, and I know Mecca's in the process of. So,
and like, I finished the game, and there's plenty to do. That's the beauty of of Rockstar games, is that they figured out how to integrate that you don't get bored with it, and that you can replay it and have a ball.
There's alternate endings to certain parts of it too.
Mm-hmm. Because there's the morality meter, which is just like a
big deal.
Yeah, the morality meter of where you can play the down and dirty bandit or go with the Western hero,
which was in the first game, but it's totally different here. And this isn't a spoiler. This is actually will help people who are just starting to play. Yeah. The moral you are, the better shit you get from looting people and stuff like that when you actually do have to do bad things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always a good thing. Yeah, the game is just I'm gonna go back and play it again when I get the time, because I want to totally do it a different way and see if I can get the alternate ending and some other things. And well, the one I don't know if I'll do, but I mean I can just go back and play that alternate ending if I want to. But
it is the system. It really is that Harv guy. It is the honor system.
It is. It very much is. You find that out later on. I found this out too late, but this is one of the few games where I actually really want to go back and replay the entire game story aspect again. And this time, of course, I'll go and do a bunch of the side missions, because that's this first time out. I just went through and just pile drive that just so I can get through the story.
Just like you get a sense that, like for me personally, that they really took because the side missions thing kind of started with GTA 4 with the whole stranger missions, and they really rebuilt it from the ground up. Like before, it was just like, oh, you can encounter people right off the street, because you have two tiers of stranger missions. You just have like random happenstances on your on horseback that you occur. Like, oh, can you help me out here? And it turns out to be a stick up.
Oh, there's hundreds of those. That's the other thing. Yeah, they're all over.
But then you have the actual the stranger side missions where you can come across like
there's like 3 or 4 different levels of missions, and I'm talking about I mainly went through and just pile drive the story missions. I did some of the other stuff, but I mainly did that just so I could get through the story because I got that engulfed.
Just as Tyler Bioshock says, they're fun. I'm like, these are side missions that they want you to play, and you're not going to feel bored doing it.
But see, and that's what I'll do the second time around through is I'll actually spend the time and go and do a lot of the side stuff. And, the story will be more secondary this time. But
whenever I get somebody was saying in the chat that they're getting Red Dead and they're getting a PS4 for Red Dead and Spider-Man. Whenever I get a new system, I usually get an NHL game. One of the from the EA's NHL.
I usually get a couple sports ones.
Oh yeah.
Sony's got a great MLB game too.
The show is amazing.
The show. But if you've never, other than boxing, if you've hockey is one sport. Hockey and football, well, what we call football is American football.
Sports ball?
Sports ball. But if you the NHL series, EA's NHL series really gets it right. I was a hockey fan for years and years of going to minor league games here, and you kind of fall out of it, you fall back into it. But the EA really does a spectacular job with the NHL series.
Oh,
they really do.
I think they're out of all of them, like because they used to manage college football for the longest time, and that fell through with the NCAA. But I'm with you 100% because I'm also one of those minor league fans. Because here in Milwaukee, we only have the
Milwaukee Admirals.
Milwaukee Admirals, and I'm still go to the fact that you can still play as some of those minor league teams is outstanding. You can play as those, and you can make your own rosters of your favorite semi-pro team.
Now they have a creative franchise mode.
They brought it back, I thought they got rid of it for the longest time.
I think they got rid of it, but it's in NHL 19 now.
Oh, that's nice.
So
the only reason I'm picking up NBA 2K is because of favorite basketball player on it. That's the only reason I'm getting it, because that I can autograph here in Milwaukee.
I get a I'm not getting NBA 2K, but I am gonna buy myself a red, white, and blue basketball at some point. They have them at Dick's Sports. I love when I was a kid. I always remember the ABA, the ABA red, white, and blue basketball.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It said even if the league sucked, they used to give the ball personality. So,
right.
so that was all those Kentucky Colonel. Actually, the NBA now is what the ABA used to be: wide open, free shooting, all that kind of stuff. So
free range NBA.
Yeah. So anyway, we've been going for about 2 hours. Matt, thanks for joining us.
I think it's about time I gotta pee.
I gotta jump in the shower. Maybe I
need a drink, not a hard
one,
one, but just like an actual drink because my throat's dry.
So anyway, thanks for joining us. You like what we do, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon, go to the main channel, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon there. Check out Mecha Random's channel, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon there. Check out Professor Geek, check out Overlord DVD, check out Captain April. He just crossed 800 subscribers. Help him out. Yay. Check out our Patreon.
Yeah, where you'll get to hear the Nicholas Meyer interview early, I'm sure.
Yes. If we have all kinds of bonuses there, lost episodes, outtakes, bloopers, behind the edge making of videos, and more. You can support the channel for as little as $1 a month. And if you don't have the means to support the channel, you can click subscribe, share with your friends, click subscribe in the main channel, share with your friends, because we cannot do this without you. Isn't that right?
That's right. That $1 donation is Rob's stripper money.
Yes. Get some lap dances. Can a brother get a table dance? Woo! Shake that, but can a brother get a table dance?
Actually, we save that money up in case we need it for emergencies to get microphones, new computer, what have you, software. Yep, that's
monitors.
And we actually plan on doing a video real soon about some of the stuff that we've been able to do with that, and
hot running hookers.
Yeah, that too. And it'll hopefully correspond with us finally getting that first Blu-ray set out of Midnight's Edge documentaries and editorials and podcasts and what have you on the Fan 4-Stick Fiasco, or Trinkate as it's called. So yeah, that's been a long way in the work too.
So anyway, everybody, thank you for joining us. Have a great Friday night. Don't drink and drive. Take care of yourselves and each other. If we see you soon, we'll be seeing you really soon here. I don't know when the next live stream is. We'll see.
Maybe this weekend, if not, maybe Monday.
Yeah, we got. So I'm writing a new mini doc that's in the pipeline.
Yep.
Hopefully, I'll get that done.
A lot of stuff in the pipeline.
Yes. Okay. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we will see you next time. Booyah!
And in that order.